Hello everyone, this is Karst, and welcome back to Disco Elysium. So last episode we found out the truth from Klasia, or rather, that's not even her real name. This lady from Rene here, and we've given her the call slip essentially to get her to actually visit the one of our stations in Precinct 41 in 6 weeks' time. Whether or not she actually listens or complies with it, it remains to be seen. But I'm glad that we at least got that chapter out of our lives at the moment. So, this gives us a few more things to chase down. I do still need to do the help Suna with her project situation, so I might be able to do that now. I want to call about the dead body, so I'm going to look into the Jamrock Public Library. The dead body that we found on the boardwalk, so unrelated to the Hanged Man. What else is there? All of this is to start a nightclub, except for the murder weapon, but we can't find the murder weapon yet. And I'm still concerned about this one, because I feel like we've already done this. Explore the secret passages. We've already been through there and found the pinball machines. So yeah, I guess, first things first, again. Quickly go to the ice cream machine and take care of that. And then I'll worry about the rest of the stuff. I do also want to find the fake documents that belong to quote-unquote Klasia. Apparently these are also fake documents, so the name that's written on there might not even be real. And I'm not gonna touch anything with regards to giving up Loot Ruby's location until I'm done all the other stuff. I don't want to get myself locked out. Okay. Yeah, I don't want to lock myself out of anything, out of any potential scenarios. So I'll just get on that then. So, first things first, I do have to equip the tool. It now also occurs to me that I can dual wield a sword and a sword and a multi-tool. I can just run around. I don't need a gun, I can just whack people over the head with these. Alright, hopefully it's defrosted enough for me to actually use it now.
This orange machine is dead still. It has a hand-cranked ice cream churner and an electric freezer. The ice around it slowly melting.
Apparently not, and I don't think I can even boost a physical instrument at this point. I am in danger. Okay, maybe I'll come back after doing the other stuff then. In that case, let's call about the body.
Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone, a pull-out toolbox.
Radio, please.
Precinct 57. How may... Hold on, officer.
To the library.
I've got Central Jamrock Public Library on the line, and I've already introduced you to their librarian. Connecting the call in 2, 1.
Yes, this is Central Jamrock Public Library here. How can I help you, officer?
A male librarian answers the call.
He sounds worried, yet ready to assist. This is how people get when the police call.
I'm looking for any information that you can provide on Billy Mejan, a reader.
Billy Majon, you said. Give me a moment, I'll have to check our database.
He puts down the receiver.
Yes, hello, are you still there? I found Billy Majon's home address, is that alright? No phone number, unfortunately.
That's okay. You can hear him fiddle with the printout.
They're too poor to have a phone line.
Yes, home address is fine.
Here we go, sir. Rue de Saint-Ghislain, 33B, apartment number 20. It's in Martinez, I believe. Capeside Apartments, it says. That's all.
Thank you.
That's where the smoker on the balcony lives, isn't it?
Is it? I thought he was in 28. Huh. That, do you have any other information on Billy Mejan?
It says here that they returned their last book just a few days ago, but I wasn't at work that day.
Do you know someone who was?
Marie? Marie? Do you remember a reader named Billy Majon? They returned a Tybalt book the other day.
He covers the phone with his hand and yells out into the room behind him, and you hear someone answer from afar.
Maurice, what? A woman yells. Then, yes, okay, if it was the police. She starts explaining something.
Yes, it was my colleague Marie. She said that it was Billy's husband who returned the book. He also asked for this new sci-fi release, Lowe's Radio City 87, but we don't have it yet.
Good. You have a name now.
Okay, so Billy Mejan is a woman, not a man. How did your colleague know that it was her husband?
Marie knows Billy. She's been working here longer than me. Sometimes her husband returns some books for her.
Okay.
And then goes for a little drink later. On the lookout.
Yep. Do you know the husband's name?
Sorry, no. Marie only knows him by sight.
Can Marie describe to me what the husband looked like?
Marie!
A moment passes.
She said it was an older man, and that she's pretty sure he'd had a drink or two the last time she saw him.
What was he wearing?
1 second.
The librarian turns away from the phone again and relays a question.
Sorry, Marie wasn't really paying any attention to that.
Thank you, that's all from me. I have no other questions.
Happy we could help. Goodbye, officer.
The librarian hangs up the call, and the call gets redirected back to the station with a soft click.
Anything else you need from me?
That is all.
57th, over and out.
In the cabin.
Alright, thanks team. She is the most helpful NPC so far, other than Kim himself, of course. Oh, what are you doing on the bench?
Officer, care to play a game with the lonely old man?
The jolliness is gone from Gaston's face.
Actually, never mind. Wouldn't be the same.
Where's Rene? I need to ask him about the sword, actually.
The prick is gone. I can barely believe it. But he's really gone.
Gone where? He replies, trying to smile.
He is trying to retain his jolly facade.
Oh.
But the underlying sadness casts a deep shadow over his wrinkled face.
Yeah, gone? Gone where? Well, apparently he's dead, according to this.
Hell,
Oh.
most likely. He was an absolute Kent.
Gaston sighs and mumbles, more to himself than you. How did he die, exactly?
His hungry little heart finally gave out. The dock workers found him in the guard booth this morning. Wasn't even supposed to be working for another week, but he just had to prove how tough he is.
Of course he did. That sucks, I'm sorry, man.
Wait, did he push himself to prove he can pull his weight and doesn't need handouts?
Guess he was about to head home, 'cause when the dock workers found him, he was wearing civilian clothes and not the Kuketu uniform I saw him in all the time. Sometimes I thought he was wearing it just to piss me off. Now the joke's on him, 'cause he's gonna be buried without it.
Gaston smiles a sad smile.
That means the uniform could still be in the guard booth. Something to keep in mind if you really plan to give yourself to Revachol.
Do you really think I want to go up to the guard booth and take the old man's clothes? Like, just steal it from him right after he died? Come on. I can't be that tasteless, right? Do you think our conversation about his job pushed him to go out there?
No. Rene was the most stubborn man in Revachol. Nothing you or I could say would ever push him to do anything. The man was completely immovable.
He replies quickly.
He has doubts, but right now, he just wants to move on and not think about it.
Fair enough. Was he really that bad?
I repeat, an absolute Kent. Even his old army buddies didn't want him around. He was like an old viper.
But you guys were childhood friends. He turns to look at the crater.
The only people who could stand to be around him were Jenny and me. She saw something in him when we were just kids and she never lost sight of it. And I thought if the most beautiful being in the world can love him, then there must be something worth holding on to.
Did you love him?
We've hated each other our entire lives. So much, in fact, that...
He falls silent and looks at you, eyes filling up with tears.
Yes, I loved that angry prick. He didn't deserve it, but I did. You know what his last words to me were?
Something mean, that he's sorry, some right-wing royalist slogan, something forgettable, like see you tomorrow, probably? Let's just go straight to the point. Tell me.
In Guillaume's time, you'd have been shot without trial. That's what he said to me. He lived a cunt, and he died a cunt. Let's leave it at that.
Lots of the C word today. The old man gathers himself and wipes his eyes again. Here. Something to remember your friends by. Give him the photograph of Rene and the girl. Well, you know, They're both dead together now, I guess.
Let me see. This was 60 years ago. We all went to that parade. Young Rene looked so happy, and Jenny.
Eyes blurry with tears, he has to stop.
I'm sorry, officer. I just... Thank you. Thank you for this little memorabilia. It really means the world to me.
He dries his eyes.
That was nice. A small thing for us, but invaluable to him. He probably didn't even know Rene had the photo.
The lieutenant smiles. It just sucks because I wanted to ask Rene about the sword, if he had any opinion on it. I offer my sincere condolences.
Yes, we are both very sorry for your loss.
The lieutenant nods.
It is what it is. Part of life, really. But to know someone for 79 years, then one day they're just gone.
Yeah. He mumbles, only half listening to you.
I just don't know anymore. About anything, really. But you must need something.
He slowly shakes his head, then remembers your presence. Too bad Rene's gone. I was hoping to ask him about May Bell's. Hold out the flower. Did I not ask him about this already?
Rene wasn't really what you'd call a botanist, officer.
Yes, I did ask him
And
about
believe
this.
me, he didn't like Insulindian lilies.
Mm-hmm.
Of course he didn't. Flowers are for pansies. Stop wasting time with them.
The old man stares at the flower, then sighs. Wait, Insulindian lilies?
That's their old name, dating back to the time of kings and crests, and all that other stuff he loved so much.
So I guess we're just getting like a dialogue option or dialogue tree where Rene is specifically dead. Because I kind of think I already looked into this, didn't I? Why didn't he like them?
There were many reasons,
Oh.
but mostly it was the communals. They called them the Bells of Revolution.
Ah, a sad smile passes his face.
I guess in the end, the Insulindian lilies were just another piece of the whole Insulinde. The royalists had to surrender to the Mazovian insurgents. It doesn't really matter anymore.
I guess I was wrong. I guess I didn't know about this. Yeah, because this is his opinion on the lilies. And what I asked about what they were for, it was for basically people giving it to the soldiers before they went off to war, right? I want to go over a few more things about Rene, if that's okay?
Yes. What about Rene?
Nothing else, and I'm definitely not saying this.
Yes,
Alright,
It is what I just don't know.
bye.
Fairweather T500.
Okay.
Remember that weakness you were looking for in
Ooh.
the ceramic armor? Like, maybe it can only stop small, fast projectiles, but a large, slow-moving pry bar would shatter it? Or, if I run an electrical current through it, maybe it will melt. Or, personal favorite, frequency something something radio weapon? None of that would work. You need to shoot the part of the enemy that doesn't have Fairweather T500 on it, because the armor itself is invulnerable. Good news is, so are the armor pieces on you.
Okay, so basically, wear it forever. Got it. So that gives me hand-eye coordination specifically against enemies in FT500 armor. So only against the mercenaries, basically. Fascinating. I'm kind of at a loss now. I don't even know what I can do. Because I can't actually help Suna until I can get the ice cream box open. And I can't get the ice cream box open until the ice melts, I guess.
This orange machine
Yeah.
is dead still. It has a hand-cranked ice cream churner and an electric freezer.
Unless I can put a skill into physical instrument, but right now I'm at a cap as far as what I can do with that. So I need another thing that boosts... But that's a thought, is it not? That requires a thought in order to boost fizz. So I'm not 100% sure what I can do. All physique white checks unlocked. I mean, realistically, this doesn't do me any good at this point, right? I can forget about contact mic. But I only have so many skill points. Just go for it. And I'll replace it with Motorway South for the time being. Or Wasteland of Reality. Oh, no, no. -2 physical. That's what I need right now. Okay, I'll just internalize this and see how it goes. Huh. Oh, what'd I miss down here? Money? Really? How'd I miss all this? Huh. Hello? A cellar window. People's feet shuffling by the street. Insane mesh tank top. Okay. Could have used that earlier in the game when I was failing my my karaoke role, but sure, whatever. In that case, I guess there's a few characters I could talk to. Shelf of paranormal books. Ooh, I kind of want to look at that. Yeah, because there's a bunch of checks here that I can probably go back and try again. I may as well go for it while I am waiting for the icebox to defrost. So yeah. So the closest person to me right now. Well, Rene is freaking dead, so there's no point in even looking at this task or even looking at this map because he is gone, very much gone. Electric doorbell. That's legendary though. My shivers is incredibly low, as far as I know, and I just went down and then up again. Let me up. It is dark as hell in here. Hello, Dice Maker. It's been a while, actually. Do you have a new dialogue for me?
Oh, it's you again. Are you looking for a die?
3%. Yeah, that's not gonna work. Go!
Aside from getting naked, you're not sure what else to do. The building holds no more answers for you.
Okay, fair enough. I'd like to order a die
course.
from you.
Tell me what you have in mind.
Do you have any cursed dice?
What do you mean by cursed?
As cursed as this commercial area.
Alright, how about I surprise you? Come back in 8 hours with 7 real, and I'll give you your cursed die.
I'm gonna think about it.
Maybe you have some other ideas for dice?
Nah.
No need to rush. Take a look around.
Yeah, I'm out of here. Alright. There goes all my planning today. I guess I can go to the apartment, so there's that. Because I was going to, like I said, I was going to go and help her by getting the ice cream machine open. But that's basically it. So I guess I can go out to the coast, figure out looking for bullet traces, and then look for the buoy. And then at some point tonight I have to go to the pigs, whatever that is. And get my gun back. Alright. That's a plan for this evening. I hope we both survive this, Kim. Hope for the best. I am sitting on 4 plus 6 healing, so I'm about as prepared as I can be, I think. Alright, back to the apartment then. Oh, the lady's not here. I was gonna at least just talk to the lady here, because I'm 99% sure it's hers. Or it's her husband. 100% sure, because they called him the working class corpse, so. Anyway, let's go in. Oh, hello. Sounds like an obscure live performance in a dirty underground bunker. Okay. Number 20. Oh, there's a new orb that I can click on here. Hello. Don't mind me. Kuno de Reuter is the name on unfinished homework. Okay. I have your name, Kuno. Your full name. Fear me, I have power over you. Oh, it's probably this apartment.
A weathered brown door.
Yeah.
The number reads 20. Something smells good. Soup allons yo. The lieutenant motions to you to go ahead and knock. This is the door. You already know it's the right door. This is going to be so hard.
Hold on, Kim. We should discuss this before we move on. What should we expect? Expect some crying, some bad news. Expect to feel bad about it.
You're right. Let's talk this through.
He looks at the apartment door and lowers his voice a bit.
You hear some light footsteps and what appears to be a daily weather forecast playing on the radio.
We have our first preliminary identification. In all likelihood, the deceased is the husband of Billy Méjean. We need to confirm this, as well as deliver the death notification to Billy herself.
Yep.
Now, delivering a death notification is never an easy task. There's a reason why it's often called the most stressful part of our job. This is why it's usually done in pairs. You got this. I'll be monitoring reactions, ready to act if necessary.
Now I'm wishing that I gave myself more composure. Because I feel like I'm going to need composure to deal with this. Do you have any advice on how to tell her he's...
dead? Just don't say that you know how they feel. You don't.
Fair.
Good advice.
What if I don't want to do this?
Yes, it's hard. But there is no easy way to handle this information. It just has to happen, as soon as possible.
Yeah, he stares at the front door for a moment, his face still. Alright, I think I'm ready.
The lieutenant motions towards the door.
Knock.
Hello? Who is it?
A voice calls out from the other side of the door.
And someone turns down the radio.
Is this Billy Méjean's home? This is the police. Please open the door.
The police? A moment, please give us a moment.
You hear shuffling inside.
Tidying up. Nervously. There's fear in her voice.
Come in, the door is open.
Oh, she unlocks the door. I didn't realize I would actually be entering. Now is my chance. I mean, that said, I don't actually know if it's going to be a composure check, but that's just kind of what I'm smelling. I'm smelling a composure check in the air. I don't know if electrochemistry is really what I should be rolling with. Maybe empathy. I guess I don't need logic for this part, so I'm gonna put on some really gross looking glasses. Anything else that might help here? I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. Well, I guess I can put on the jeans. Yeah, let's go with that. And I'll put these down here for now. Okay. Hello. I was right, it is you. I'm sorry, lady. I assume you have kids, since you have 2 separate bedrooms? I think I remember you saying you had a kid, right? An empty pack of red Astra cigarettes hidden under the bed. The same brand of cigarettes you found in the trash next to the deceased. Hello, detective. Yeah. Packages of humanitarian aid macaronis. Some leftovers kept warm on a stovetop. Smells like buckwheat and onions here. Windows covered in old newspaper clippings. Can't they afford curtains? Well, they're poor, we knew that. Don't judge them for that. A chalk-drawn height chart for children's growth over the years. Yeah, okay, they do have kids. The clock is ticking away with an odd cheerfulness. Its ticking makes you anxious, rings hollow in the room. A textbook for high school, mathematics, trigonometry mostly. I'm sorry, working class woman.
It's you from the book stand. Did you come to bring my cockatoo back?
She smiles nervously before the smile vanishes from her face.
I don't think I introduced myself properly. I'm Billy. Would you like something to drink? Tea? Lemonade? We're out of coffee.
She looks around the kitchen.
The lieutenant has taken off his foggy glasses and is busy cleaning them in his handkerchief for now. You're on your own here. He must feel vulnerable without his glasses. Is this why he's letting you take the lead?
Thanks, but I'm alright.
Is this about Victor, my husband? Is he in some kind of trouble again? I can come pick him up in the station if that's what.
She stops, her eyes trying to read answers from your face.
Keep it together.
Yeah.
You don't want your body language to tell her the news.
Sorry, I'm rambling. It's just that Victor often gets into all kinds of trouble. So, how can I help you?
She shakes her head and tries to laugh it off.
How about some small talk before you break the news?
I guess we can.
Definitely no small talk. This isn't the time or place.
Oh. So, how have you been?
How have I been? You're not here to discuss me. What is this about, officer?
She shakes her head.
Can't write a scene without knowing the actors.
Too much
Ask
small talk.
all.
Oof.
Get comfortable around her.
I think I should just go straight to the point. Too much small talk is already a -1. And it's red check and cannot be retried. I'm at 97% here, though. Can I please not fail? Please? Kim is here as a +4. And I've identified the jacket, library card, I've kept my composure, I've discussed things through, I have a handkerchief, apparently. But too much small talk. Just go for it!
You've done this before. Just keep your focus.
God, do I just say he's dead like that? I think I do. I have to cut straight to the point, right? Rip off the band-aid. Ma'am, I'm very sorry to say, but your husband, Victor Mejean, was found dead on the Martinez boardwalk.
What did you say?
She blinks.
A great and terrible spike. The blood freezes in her veins.
Your husband, Victor Mejean, is dead. I'm very sorry for your loss, ma'am.
Oh.
She touches her neck, eyes pale like pearls in seawater.
Oh. But he was just...
She says again. She looks at the kitchen table, where 2 cigarette butts are still in the tray.
But he was just here. Alive.
Like 2 days ago, but...
We understand this comes as a huge shock. I want you to know that me and my partner are here for you if you have any questions. Take your time, ma'am.
He points at you.
What happened to him?
He turns to you. Her neck and cheeks are covered with red blotches, her double chin shaking. It's still early to say, but at first glance it seems like he slipped and hit his head.
Was he drunk?
Alcohol may have played a role, yes.
I see. And you just found him there, lying in the cold.
She withdraws, trying to picture the scene.
How long had he been there?
If you say 2 days maybe, it will be etched in her mind forever.
Yeah, I should not say that. It couldn't have been long.
She blinks, eyes welling up with tears, as her hand starts searching for something from the pockets of her dress. The handkerchief.
Here, take this. Give her the lieutenant's handkerchief. No, I shouldn't say anything. No words, just give it to her.
A small, terrified smile quivers on her face as she takes the handkerchief and wipes away the tears. She looks disoriented.
I'm glad I kept that on me. But I wish it wasn't for this.
Is there anyone we could call for you? A friend, a family member, someone who could be here for you?
No. I just need to tell my girls.
She breathes in and the air gets sucked out of her lungs suddenly.
It burns like acid.
God. Should I call them? Should I tell them to come home?
No. A day.
Thank you, empathy. No, take a day to recover. You'll be better prepared when they come home tomorrow.
Good. That's probably the right thing. Thank you.
She nods, but with a wretched expression.
She can't take much more. Her stomach is churning. Soon she will have to go to the bathroom and scream.
Just tell me, what do I need to do next? Where is he? Can I see him?
We've taken him to the city morgue. The local coroner will be contacting you shortly to arrange the funeral. Here's his number in case you want to contact him earlier.
He hands her a leaflet with the morgue's contact information.
A very good call.
Is there anything else that the RCM could do for you?
No, I'll call you if something comes up. I'm still...
She rubs her face, runs her fingers over her cheeks that have become numb.
Thank you. Thank you for telling me. I'll call if...
She looks down and she runs out of breath.
These are her last reserves of strength. Her muscles will give in soon. Already, she starts to shake.
Again, I'm very sorry, ma'am.
We should step outside and talk.
The lieutenant nods at the woman, then looks back at you. Set the library card by her. Leave the room. I feel so bad for her, man. But it's never easy to deliver news like that. Hey, Kim.
You did well.
The lieutenant says as soon as you've left the apartment. The balcony feels cool and quiet with a stunning view over the district. I could have done more.
You did enough.
He pauses, rubbing his hands together to generate some heat.
Can't save the whole world, you know.
I know, but I wish.
Can't bring the dead back.
Nod. What now?
I'll call the station when we're finished with the day, and let them know the name of the deceased.
What about Billy and her kids?
They'll manage.
They have to. It's not your place to live their lives.
That's true. That's it?
That's it. We should get back to our case now that our duty here is done.
Right, this is closed then.
Let's go.
Let's go. We're done. Ooh, that was a bit rough. Okay. My issues still remain, though, with regards to the lady on the boardwalk. Or not the lady on the boardwalk. I'm still dwelling on the boardwalk, and I really shouldn't be. With the ice machine, I'm still dwelling on that. So I guess I can head out to the beach area. And then try to figure out if there's any gunshot casings or anything. You can roll with it. I think it was a good idea for me to keep my composure boosted, but I'm going to put these back on now. And get going. So I need to check the boardwalk for bullet traces, Land's End for bullet traces, the island for bullet traces, and also Clasia's Buoy, which is west of the boardwalk. So I'm back at the church. I'm just going to go up to Land's End, which I believe is up here, look for bullet traces, and then I'm going to go over to the boardwalk and then try to figure out where Clasia's Buoy is. I'm not quite sure what I'm looking for, though, unfortunately. Well, that's a trap. I'm not too worried about the trap. We've already checked those. Oh.
Is there something here that would indicate a sniper used this place as a nest for taking the shot? Just some urban detritus, a bottle, and a dilapidated old comms tower. The wind picks up. Fine sea foam lashes your face. It feels like needles. You can take it. Just raise your collar, detective. In the distance, you can hear the breakers roar.
Okay.
I don't see it, Lieutenant W. Freighter. I don't see a person take a shot here and hit something there. In the whirling in rags.
He looks east over the coast. Maybe the campfire was used by the perpetrator?
To warm his hands before pulling the trigger? Perhaps. But anyone could have made this. The coast is specked with fire this time of year.
He looks around.
Truthfully, this seems like a very poor choice to take a 1.2 kilometer rifle shot from. Visibility is awful. There's water vapor everywhere. I think we can rule out biddable prime, was it?
Maybe the assailant climbed the comms tower and took the shot from there.
It's not possible to climb that ladder. And even if it were, why? There's no platform up there to aim from.
The lieutenant looks up, raising his collar.
He looks like he's cold out here at the tip of the coast. The jacket is warm, but not for this weather.
Kim, you look cold. Maybe a thicker coat?
I'm okay. You, on the other hand, ye freighter, you look like you're about to turn into a popsicle.
You're right. I should look into this situation before I die of hypothermia.
That seems smart, yes.
What about the cigarette butts?
Those? A smoking assailant who favors Tumutiri to Astra or Juran? Cigarette butts are everywhere. This is a common brand for all men.
Fair.
Still, you felt it was important enough to make a mental note. That means something. You didn't pay attention to any of the other cigarette butts on the coast.
True. Look over the water to the whirling in rags.
There, 1.2 kilometers over the cold water of the bay. Through a thick snowstorm melting flake by flake in the waves, you see the smallest rectangle, barely visible.
That does sound pretty far, yes.
A glowing light on the third floor of the whirling in rags. With binoculars, you would see a young woman's shape move behind the glass, her limbs long and slender.
Okay.
Smoking, drinking, being happy and elated. Without you. Because you're here, freezing in the wind, aren't you? Doing your detective work.
Doing my job. Finish my thought. Okay, so we're rolling this area out. To the boardwalk then, I guess. How did I miss this drum? You've got to be joking me. Come on. No way I missed that. And this too? How? Alright, fair enough. This is where Billy's husband was. I don't really want to be here again. I guess I'm gonna head west down here then. Why is this still interactable? Huh. I still haven't figured out a way how to get into that building yet, though. How to get into Feld Electrical. Oh, I forgot about you. I don't think there's anything to say to you, though. Okay, time to go down and around. Looking for Clasia's buoy, or boy, or however you want to say it. Oh, that's probably it. Could this be the buoy Clasia told you about? I don't know. You tell me.
A metal and plastic contraption bobs up and down amidst the trembling reeds. At first, it just looks like trash. But if you look closer...
That, over there, must be the boy Clasia told us about. The one she hid her passport in. We should take a look.
He points to the strange-looking object.
Ooh, hidden things. Secrets. Lies.
Indeed. Pick up the buoy.
You lift the boy out of the water without much effort. It's not tied to anything. The cords dangling from the bottom appear to have been cut.
My first question is, why would I sniff the thing? Do it!
It smells like you would expect it to smell. A concentrated version of the coast. Salt, industrial slop, and decay.
And Kim's watching me sniff a buoy.
The water this side of the peninsula is cleaner. Actually, smells a little salty.
Okay, examine the plastic ball.
The number 11 has been written on the yellow plastic. It hasn't been in the water for very long, but it's already discolored and slimy with silt. A latch holds it close, but only just barely. The brittle metal of the latch has cracked.
Simple construction. Very unsafe.
So, in the potential case where there's actually something fragile that she might have hidden away in this, I'm not going to shake the buoy. Just in case, because seems like the type of game where if you do something like that, the unintended consequence of having something fragile inside shatter, it seems very likely. So I'm just going to open the buoy and move on.
A shot glass's worth of seawater pours out. Some algae. And nothing else.
Really?
Well, damn.
Huh. We're lucky it's still here. A little longer and it would have floated away.
We still got here too late. There's nothing of use here anymore.
True. The lieutenant flashes a mirthless half-smile. No documents. Who do you think took them?
I have no idea.
The lieutenant taps his foot, frowning. This is a minor quirk. We know what was in the buoy anyway. But we have nothing to prove. Like, we can't prove that.
Or think we do.
Yeah.
This is a small loose end, either way. Not important, I hope.
Maybe Clasia took them herself.
That may very well be the case. We should keep an eye on her. Nothing more for us to do here. Let's go.
Let's go.
You could ask the miss what she thinks. Later, if you have the time. Though you doubt she'll tell you much at this point.
True.
I have no idea. Or think...
I guess I could just pick all of
this
these
is
options.
A small loose
yeah.
end, either way. Not important, I hope.
It must have been Clasia's enemies, which means she's in danger.
Could be. We should keep an eye out. Nothing more for us to do here. Let's go.
You
Okay.
could ask the miss.
I have no... Or think we do. This is a small loose end, either way.
Could
Not
this be
important,
related to the
I hope.
cryptozoologists and their little expedition? It seems unlikely.
In my experience, cryptids are generally uninterested
Yeah, right?
in travel documentation.
Even if the animal is
should
real, would it really take those things?
You could ask the miss. what she
Okay.
thinks.
I have no... Or think
I have no idea. Do you have any
This is
theories?
Might have been Glacia.
Yeah,
Might
true.
have been the people after her.
True.
Might have been a local drunk.
True.
We should go.
Fair
You
enough.
could ask the miss. what
All right,
she
time to
thinks.
go. Huh. I guess I should still look on the boardwalk. I kind of forgot about that. Okay. We'll check the boardwalk for bullet cases or bullet traces, and then I'm really kind of out of the loop what I should do next. I could make Titus give me the location of Ruby. I could do that, and then into the evening go and get my gun, hopefully, and then hope that I can still do like the church stuff and I don't get locked out of anything. I never like doing main quest stuff before doing side quest stuff, you know? I've learned my lessons after playing like KOTOR 2 and stuff as a child. Finish a planet and it's done. And now you can't do anything you missed. It's a long way down to your death from here, 20 meters at least. Stop messing with the coin viewer and hold on to something. The wind is so strong. Okay. Not exactly what I came out here for. I would like to find any traces of gunpowder. Anything from here? No? I'm like, this is all considered part of the boardwalk, right? I guess I can go walk all the way down and around. I'm sure if there is something, it's going to pop up around here, right? But the boardwalk here is shattered. I guess maybe there's more on this side. I'm kind of thinking maybe it's related to this building, because I still haven't found a reason to get in there yet. Hey, do you guys know anything?
Hello. Isn't this a fine morning?
He nods to you, smiling. I want to hear more about the Feld building.
Sure. What's... But of course.
Nothing. Feld Electrical?
You see, a once bright
Yeah.
slogan used to intertwine with...
Nope. I don't know. Well, I couldn't figure it out, so I am going to travel to the shelf of paranormal books. Completely unrelated, I know, but I'm at a loss. And I'd rather get some checks done than nothing, you know? Let's go. Oh, hello. Was that a thought? What was that? The thing popped up, but I'm not seeing a choice. Hello? Nope, it's still making the noise. Huh. I guess I could save and load to make it go away again. Alright, it's gone. Hey, Plaisance, it's been a bit. Let me try that check now with the Inland Empire.
This bookstore is not strictly about
Ooh.
crime, romance, and biographies of famous people. There's also a wide range of paranatural literature.
Find something truly otherworldly. What is the Pale? I've heard about the curse, but I don't believe in curses. 83%. Go!
The throbbing in your head increases with every passing moment you gaze at this shelf. Suddenly, as if out of nowhere, a small green book becomes apparent. The title of it reads, Medicinal Purposes of the Pale.
What is this book about?
The book contains descriptions of various pseudoscientific therapies, alternative medicines, and folk remedies involving the Pale, also known as le territoire. For example, it recommends vigorously swatting one's naked body with a venig or hand broom, made from the leafy twigs of a young birch tree from the near Pale.
How is that supposed to help?
Even better if you can find someone else, preferably a large man dressed in nothing but a towel, to thrash you while you're spread naked and helpless on a cool slab.
No thanks. Sounds painful.
It is supposedly invigorating and good for the circulation.
What else?
It also recommends consuming distilled spirits like vodka or whiskey that have been aged in the pail. Readers are instructed to cover these jars in a shallow hole just inside the pail and leave them there for 30 to 60 days, depending on the potency desired.
I'm a little concerned about this because it's like, it just sounds radioactive. What does this pale-aged liquor do?
Among other benefits, it is alleged to restore a damaged liver to perfect health.
Seems legit.
That seems improbable.
I should probably get my hands on some of that. What else is in there?
For general health and well-being, readers are encouraged to take regular strolls through the pail, though a sidebar cautions readers to limit each stroll to less than an hour.
Okay.
These strolls promise to cleanse the mind of worries and the body of toxins, especially if the perambulator performs this ritual in the nude.
Of course.
Nudity figures prominently in a number of these prescriptions.
That does sound like it, yes.
This is exactly what you need.
Is it now?
Anthroponetic nudism? That's insane. That's beyond dangerous.
Okay, anything else of note?
There's an entire section devoted to cures for men who are struggling to perform their marital obligations.
I probably need that.
Excuse me, sir. I believe you've been perusing that particular volume long enough. If you'd like to continue reading, I must insist you buy it.
I'll pass on it for now. Tell you what, since I have nothing else better to do, and as far as I know, money doesn't really get me anything at this point, I think I'm going to buy that board game. The Weird Al one.
Mountain of colorful board game boxes.
I will not be buying that board game, the Weird Al one. I'm off by $5. Although I think I can actually pawn a few things, so I guess I'll just do that. This is going to be the episode where I run around doing stuff to pass time, basically. In my horrible, horrible attempt to, Oh, hello. The low rumble of a bass beat. Your heart repeats it. In my horrible attempt to pass time, yeah. Hello.
Officer, the flashlight, please.
Every time. Alright. Sorry, man.
Hello. Let me
something
know
to
if
sell.
I can... Sure. Let me have a look.
Pawn
Anything
menu.
else you're thinking of selling?
Yes, this one has hell written on its back. It could not be further from the truth. It's the boom years, and Kuro, the nicest district in Revachol West, is enjoying a sun-drenched day. Tall and handsome buildings rise from the riverside. Steel, iron, and yellow limestone with cloud shadows sliding on the facades. Sure. And now I'm going to keep everything else, because I don't know if it'll all come in handy at some point. Yeah, that's it.
Another time, perhaps.
Bye. Titus, I need you to give me Ruby's location.
It's you again. What is it?
He acknowledges you gruffly. Yes, it is me. Okay, I talked to Clausia. Now I need to talk to Ruby.
Why?
He leans back and regards you with curiosity. I'm going to level with you. She's the next link in the chain that leads me to Lily's color.
Sounds like you're making her a suspect in this. Not on my watch, you're not. Ruby's one of us. We're not gonna throw her under your moral intern steamroller. Fuck that shit.
And fuck you too, moral
He throws a glance at Titus as the last syllable leaves his lips. The big guy sighs.
Ruby is missing. If you hide from the police in a murder investigation, you become a suspect. You know how it works, guys.
That's nothing. That's just legalese. You don't even have a sound theory. I don't want to be rude, but we're trying to get some R&R here. Think you could fuck off now?
Nope. He crosses his arms.
I think we'll keep sticking around, Titus.
Wow.
You'll be surprised at how quickly a theory presents itself if you keep looking.
Logic. Impossible 18. Present a solid theory about why Ruby could have done it. I have a 97% chance. It is so long that it's not even showing up. There you go. Okay. So, I found the key in the Union box. I saw the winch outside. It was staged like a play. I reconstructed the murder scene. I found the antique rifle. Clausia gave a motive. The secret route was found, and Ruby is a drug trader.
A sudden flash of lightning in your neocortex. The hostel cafeteria is lit by its airy blaze. Floor plans, bullet trajectories, webs of human emotion, all channeled into a single thought.
Why are you so sure Ruby didn't off him?
Because she was here, all night, with us.
Uh-huh.
He's cobbling together shit so he can put her away. It's Cop 101.
She was here all night? 11:30 to 12:15? She was here during all that time?
The lieutenant ignores the tattooed man.
Yeah, with us, drinking, near the stage there.
He points to the karaoke stage. She didn't go out for fresh air for one smoke?
No.
That's a lie.
You know that's not the case.
Alright, she took a fucking leak, okay? For one moment. Maybe went out too. She has an operation to run from her lorry. We're not getting into what that operation is again, Culp.
He points to the intersection. I know everything about that already.
That's probably for the best. Don't break your stride now.
And just because she was gone for 5 minutes doesn't mean she magically got to the roof and shot him. I've been through this. It's not plausible.
He taps on his temple.
He's been through it. That means he's suspected her too.
True.
Alright, we're in. We got Ruby unaccounted for sometime during the window. This was crucial. Now let's place her on that roof. You got his attention. Now don't ruin it by making weird claims. Remember, you can still mess this up.
A skilled sambo artist could have climbed the outer wall like a spider. That's terrible. There is a secret route in the kitchen that leads straight to the roof.
How?
He looks sincerely curious. Through what looks like an abandoned pinball workshop.
People say there was a pinball arcade here, sometime before the hostel. What was it called, Theo?
East Delta Pinball Arcade. Weird place. Went bankrupt.
The man coughs.
Weird? How? You're wearing the pinball maker's coat.
True. What do you mean weird, Theo?
It was run by a fella called Nerflock something, who wore a yellow dust coat like the one you have on right now. Weird guy. Never liked him.
I'm actually wearing his coat. This is literally the coat. He squints at you.
It is a very comfortable coat for such an oldie.
Okay, but how'd you get up? There's no room for a staircase in this building. Or an elevator, for that matter.
Actually, there is one in the secret compartment.
The elevator is outside the building. It's an old dumbwaiter used for moving pinball machines up and down from the workshop.
I'm not going to say good one, Kim, because they're going to think he's lying. From there, a door leads straight to the roof. You can just step outside.
Ruby could have gone up, shot him, come down. All under 7 minutes.
That's quite the theory. We need to have a look at that secret passage, boys.
He turns to Eugene. Go ahead, it's right there.
I'm on it, boss. Right when the law clears, me and Angus are going up there.
That's fine.
It's a dumbwaiter, not an industrial lift. How about I go instead of...
Just now. You got something else to back this route up? Or is that it?
He turns to you. You do agree that the shot came from the roof, right?
Why not? You can't draw a straight line into Clausia's window from any of the surrounding buildings. Not from what I know about Martinez. Maybe from the coast. But like I said, I've been too busy dealing with you idiots. So no, I don't think it was a sniper. It was close up.
He shakes his head. There's a 72% chance that the bullet came from the roof.
72%? There's a percentage and all. Where'd you get it from? Your guys in the lab?
He picks up his beer.
Definitely lie. The truth is not credible.
Huh. I analyzed it on the spot. Turns out I can do that. Yeah, apparently. Yes, we have a ballistics lab in Couron. We consult in cases like these.
Wouldn't hurt to have one of those in Martinez. What else have you got? That puts her on the roof.
I'm not going to mention the Sambo artist, okay? Have you noticed the winch out back on the outer wall of the whirling?
I've seen the winch. I'm not blind. You saying it's part of the elevator she used to get up there?
That's right.
That's one mystery down then. An architectural mystery. Doesn't much concern Ruby, does it?
There were pinball machines in the workshop, still operational. I don't see how that would be important.
Right. What
yeah,
the
right?
fuck does that got to do with Ruby?
Nothing. I just thought we could bring some down and get some new machines in here.
Wow, man, can we? I mean...
That'd be awesome. I beat that royalist machine 20 times now.
All right. We can get the barman to bring them down. What else?
Fair enough. Guess what? Remember that key I found here? Point at the window.
I don't like guessing, Carl. No one does.
It opens the steel door in the kitchen, the one that leads upstairs to the roof. This key was right here, with you, all the time.
He looks at the hawthorn bush outside the window. You didn't find it, but Ruby did, and that's how she got up there.
Quit jumping to conclusions, Theo. You took that key. Did it look like it was recently put there?
He turns to the old man.
No, the ribbon was old. Faded. It had been there for 20 years at least.
She could have just put it back there once she was done.
Why? This doesn't make sense. It's damn interesting, but it doesn't fit well, and you know it.
He shakes his head.
It doesn't fit well, but it fits. And he knows it.
Yep. Let's not mention the Sambo artist, okay? Have we firmly established Ruby could have had access to the roof where the man was shot?
Firmly doesn't go well with could've. There's a route to the roof. Me and the boys need to check it out. That's what we've established.
He shakes his head.
But a route does not put that bullet in his head. A gun does that, and Ruby doesn't carry one.
He forms a gun with his hand.
Phase 2. Murder weapon. Get a gun in her hand. If not that, then at least a shadow of a doubt. In the shape of a gun.
I have analyzed the bullet that killed him. It was jacketed.
So...
The man shrugs and looks at you.
So it had to come from a breech-loading rifle. Military grade. Not even you militia monkeys have those.
He turns to you.
This goes against your short-range theory. If the murder weapon was military grade, how did Ruby get it?
He doesn't wait for a response.
You don't know. Just be honest.
Just because it's rare doesn't mean you can't get it.
Calm. That's exactly what it means.
That wasn't strong.
Show them the antique rifle. There are weapons like this just lying around in Martinez.
That looks antique. A Bell McGrave. It's inoperable. Where'd you get it?
He takes the gun, inspects it, and hands it back to you. There's a cellar under the bookshop. It was hidden there, with others just like it.
20, maybe 30 rifles, Titus. Also broken, but still, there were too many. And there must be other caches too.
God damn it. We need to close that dump down for good.
That's a goddamn breech loader, too. Find one that works, and you got a military-grade weapon that shoots jacketed ammunition.
He nods to it and he shakes his head. Good. So now he's like, okay, it's possible.
He sees it.
Yep.
This is coming together. He must. Time to really close the deal. Show them the bullet.
Oh, let's get dramatic. Hold out the bullet. This is the bullet that did it. 4.46 millimeters. The Bell Margrave uses the same caliber.
The blonde man looks at the mushroomed death bringer in the evidence bag and says,
Yeah, the bitch is jacketed all right. 4 millimeter too.
Whoa.
Well, goddamn. It's not proof, but it's a possible murder weapon. Close to her. Too damn close.
His eyes follow the evidence bag back in your pocket.
You have been thorough. I'll give you that.
Yeah, I know. I've already established Ruby's running drugs. She could have smuggled guns, too.
God damn. That's just about your favorite topic, isn't it? Every fucking 5 seconds.
Titus slaps his thigh.
You were warned not to bring it up. Your best shot here is to just back out of it.
All I'm saying is, from what I saw in her cabin, she'd have no trouble getting a gun.
Trouble? This is Revachol. Even the roid heads in the gym had a carbine. No one has trouble getting a gun. I still never saw her carry one.
She could have stashed it away in the hidden path.
He must be referenced in some past case of theirs. He's angry because he knows you're right. What he's saying only confirms your theory.
There's a small 28% chance that the shot came from beyond the roof. But why would I mention that when I'm trying to pin it on her being up there? The local pawn shop sold my lost gun to a woman. Maybe it was her.
You lost your gun?
Oh, true. The blonde man is taken aback, not even laughing.
What an idiot!
Tell me, did you lose it before the murder?
The big man leans closer. It was a joke.
Sure.
Ouch.
Take your sorry ass out of here. Ruby didn't use your lost gun to kill him.
True, true. I don't know why I brought it up. That's right. The murder did happen before I came here.
Stop thinking about your lost gun, damn it. You'll get a heart attack.
Yeah, that was rough.
This was merely a thought exercise. He did not lose his gun. Let's move on.
Whoops. Alright, I didn't say I'd prove she had the murder weapon, just that we need to find her.
I don't know, Cop. Why don't you find your lost gun first?
Yeah, I should not have brought that up. The tattooed man bursts out laughing at his own joke.
Easy now, Al. This isn't comedy hour.
Titus, we're not seriously considering it, are we? Ruby wouldn't do this. Why would she do something like this?
He almost gets up from his seat.
Phase 3. Motive. The last component. The big one. Get this and they'll give her to you. Remember, don't piss him off. That never works.
True. When Claudia came downstairs, Ruby appeared to know that something was wrong.
Nah, man. That's just Ruby. She's got shit under control.
The man explains.
That's her whole thing. That's why she's so good.
Plus, man, it's like female intuition, you know. Women talk to women. Which is sort of why we need someone on the team who they talk to.
He peeks at Titus. Or she knew what happened because she killed him.
Not so useful.
Titus looks at Alain, then Eugene. It's not why did she kill him, it's why did she organize the cover-up?
And I suppose you have a theory on that.
She could have just been covering up for herself, Titus.
Think about it. Why go through all that effort? It was her idea, wasn't it? The hanging. You went along, but she suggested it.
She had, like, a fully formed plan and shit. Right when she came back downstairs.
The little man squints, eyes beady.
Really, Shanks? Claudia wanted to talk to another girl, that's all. She was just the first one up there. I could have come up with that plan if I'd have been first.
Time for a logics demonstration.
A logics demonstration? Who would I pick? Why would I pick? Oh. Who's the shaky one? Shanky, you're shaky.
I didn't do it, fucker. It wasn't my plan.
Let's assume you killed her.
You probably did, though.
It's just a thought experiment. Think, Shanky. You killed him. You got up there, shot him, cut down.
Would you prefer to go on trial with your buddies as part of a lynch mob or alone for committing a murder?
Fuck you, man. I would never fuck my guys over like that.
He squeaks with indignation.
She didn't either. She would never do that. Why aren't more of you defending her? This is fucking stupid, Titus.
The blonde man looks around.
Glenn, I thought the same thing when she skipped town and left us in this shit.
Titus looks grim.
Oh, so he didn't rule her out completely. And she skipped town. This is good.
Glazia told me some pretty interesting things about Ruby.
Yeah. Like what?
Apparently she had a thing for Glazia.
A thing? You mean?
He tilts her head to the side and falls silent.
Yeah, but they're both girls.
The fat man looks up from the table, oblivious.
Girls like girls too, Angus, sometimes. This is one of those times. She liked Glazia.
The lieutenant explains. What Kim said.
Fuck you. First he says she's murdered him. Now she's a who? It's a lie.
The man can't believe what he's hearing.
Come on, Glenn. She likes Monica's titties more than you do. Everyone knows which way the wind blows there.
The Mesk smiles.
I did. I knew it. That's why she didn't fuck me at Fatty's birthday party.
Okay, sure, that's the only reason. Nothing else.
She didn't fuck you, 'cause you're 40, and you still live with your mom, Dennis.
Light laughter sounds off in the room. It feels nervous. Glazia said that she made advances on her, and she thwarted them.
Ruby then threatened her and told her to end her relationship with the deceased.
This is some sordid shit. It's also the kind of garbage our Miss Rene puts out to cover her own ass.
The big man rubs his chin. Fair enough, she did tell us when we were close to arresting her.
Figures. But that Ruby is queer as cabaret, now that I start thinking about it. So there is some truth to it.
He looks out the window.
And that's okay. Some are queerer than others. You can still be a Hardy. But if you bring your own personal shit into our outfit...
He glances at Glenn.
And then, boss, use us to cover it up? I mean, that's just fucked up.
He shakes his head.
If it's true. But it's not. Right?
He looks at Shanky, then Titus. Maybe she killed him because she thought it would curry favor with you?
You had expressed, on occasion, your dislike of the mercenaries' presence in Martinez, right?
Whack someone in my district? That doesn't carry much favor with Titus Hardy. She has to know that.
He rubs his chin and looks out the window.
It's the kind of chin-rubbing men, often leaders, do when they think of punishment.
I'm gonna leave this one unchecked because I don't want to piss him off. Titus, you have to see it. Things don't add up and we need to talk to her.
Silence. He looks around the room. The old man in the corner nods. A very small nod. And a trickle of tobacco spit on his lip.
This man has a lot of influence. I mean, he's probably been around the longest since he's the oldest man here. But he does seem to take his advice, I guess, to heart.
This is the only option he cares for.
The only opinion he cares for.
Yeah, I see it. There's one more thing I've been wondering about. Ever since you asked me where she is. Add it to your list of suspicions, if you won't.
I will. He puts his beer down.
I don't know. I don't know where she went. She just got up and left. Got real scared, too. Wouldn't tell me where. However hard I asked. Want to know why?
He smiles a peculiar smile. Why?
She was afraid I would tell you. Maybe she was right. By now, I probably would.
He looks you straight in the eye.
She knew there's evidence on her, and she knew we'd find it. This is typical suspect behavior, why fleeing is always incriminatory.
Perhaps. Ask her if you find her. It won't be easy,
Nice.
though. She made sure of
that. He looks out the window again. When did she leave?
Friday afternoon, when you first arrived. I got word the RCM was in town. Then she came in to see me. Told me she was leaving. That's when we had our little conversation.
What was she scared of?
I told you. You.
Me? As in the RCM?
No, you. As in the cop with the sideburns and the disco clothes.
I have no idea why she'd be scared. I'm just a normal cop with regular thoughts in his head.
Sure. Normal.
He says without smiling.
You know, when I first saw you limp in here, I thought she was paranoid or sniffing her own supply. But now I'm not so sure.
He measures you up. Why was she afraid of me? I'm like, just... I would have come in looking like a horrible drunk and wouldn't be able to solve any case, unless she knew my reputation, I guess. I'm going to ask this again and see if there's any other options I can pick.
I told you.
Me personally?
Yes, you. The cop with the sideburns and the disco clothes.
She probably knew me from my singing days.
Yeah, that's real funny. She wasn't laughing, though.
He looks at you.
You know, when I first saw you limping here, I thought she was paranoid or sniffing her own supply. But now I'm not so sure.
Okay, what else did Ruby tell you about me?
She said you have a funny taste in clothes and that you won't stop.
He scoffs. Won't stop.
Until you have something on her.
Ah.
She said she's heard of you from Jamrock, that you're a human can opener, that you play suspects against each other, open them up like cans.
So my reputation actually did precede me. Got it.
Fucking hell. Titus, did he just...
The tattooed man shakes his head.
Open Angus up like a can? Yes, he did. Now, we can whine about it, whack him, or we can go on with our lives. I'm having a go on with our lives kind of day, Al. How about you?
It's not an actual question. Silence. He nods.
Is that true, Kim? Am I a can opener?
You are insistent.
He nods. Anything else? Anything? Oh.
Yeah, there was something else. She wouldn't tell me, though. I could see she wanted to. It was burning on her lips. This cop, Titus. This cop, he... But she was too scared.
But why?
Scared? You should be, too. A strange fear creeps over you. A metallic taste in your mouth. Change the subject.
Do you have any clues on where she went?
She's not far. We know that much. She didn't take her lorry, so she's on foot.
That's true, that's fair.
Good fucking luck, man. She knows this place like the back of her hand. You'll never find her.
Yeah, Al. And we won't either.
He gives a sharp look.
She's not really a hardy candidate anymore, is she?
The man stares into his beer.
She's not, Glenn.
Have you looked for her?
A little. On the coast.
On the coast?
Where have you looked for her, more precisely?
More precisely, on the coast, past the waterlog. She's not here, so I'm thinking she's there.
He nods southwest. Maybe she's by the campfire with the cigarette butts.
Who's doing this looking? They're all here.
Good point. You're all here. Who's looking?
Lizzie needed some air.
The gardener, but she went to tell Everard.
You're a smart cop, but you're a stupid person. No one goes to tell Everard anything. If he has to know, he has to know fast.
It's called a radio.
Oh, true.
The gardener may have played you a game when she stormed out. She has her own plan.
Can you tell me where on the coast I should start looking?
Sure. There's some shit houses there. A cinder block town. Fisherfolk there refuse to unionize. So, that's one place we haven't looked.
Okay. I guess it's the fisherman town village. I have my shack there, so I may as well go and visit again as well.
I hear they have a shack where junkies sometimes crash. Time for you to step up.
We will start there. One more question. What does Ruby look like?
The lieutenant makes a quick note.
Boyish. Hair's red. Dyed. She looks like a lorry man.
And do you know what she was doing with Yulin frequencies? Or do you know what she's doing with
what
them?
now? I have no idea. Boys?
He looks around.
She said she's building a...
What?
A pale emitter.
His voice is very quiet.
What?
We were talking about radio equipment. She said she's doing Yulon frequencies at a pale something. I don't know more.
This guy barely understands what he's talking about.
There you have it. Pale something.
Titus puts an end to it. It's not much, but it'll do. Go!
It'll have to.
He puts his hand out. I'll shake his hand.
His grip is firm and reassuring, like holding a piece of unpolished granite. Not just granite, tightly packed RCM Sergeant material.
You should be a cop, Titus.
When are you gonna get it through your dumb head? I already am. I just wasn't sure you were.
He scoffs.
And he still isn't. People aren't afraid of good cops in the way Ruby was afraid of you, he thinks, then turns back to his men.
Mm-hmm. Fair. Alright, we made quite a bit of progress there, actually. So now we just have to go and ask about Ruby in the village. Fascinating. I still need to get my gun, but that's not going to become available till 9 hours from now. I just really wish I could get more physical instrument. There has to be a way to boost this, right? I assume it has to be a thought. I have to like keep thinking of a thought. But I also have to waste time. Waste time and then go to bed or something, and then maybe the thoughts will complete. But even then, I don't know what would actually reset. What would give me the physical instrument that I want. Yeah, I don't actually know what it would do. I wish I could just, like, reset some of these. Like, if I could just do this now, where is it? Or, like, get one of these. Yeah, learning cap increase, that'd be nice for physical. Yeah. Okay. I'm just gonna have to keep rolling with it. Frankly, I'm at a bit of a loss at the moment. I think what I'm just going to do is I'm gonna run around talking to everyone again, seeing if there's any additional dialogue that I might have missed, passing some time until I can go get my gun, and hopefully picking up some thoughts along the way. Cause I need a way to open up that box, and until I get physical instrument, that's not happening. And I don't want to bully her out of the church either. So I'm just gonna have to run around and try doing this. In the meantime, though, I might have to toss out some of these other thoughts, the ones that are no longer useful. Like this is fine. This is good. This seems good. This seems kind of pointless. This is okay, but also seems kind of meh. I don't even use speed, so I'm kind of thinking I could drop this one. Learning cap for endurance. Let me think. This one is still ongoing. I can't do anything with it for now. I'm seriously considering dropping the perception one. But I'm already at 8, and I could technically still level it up even more. So I'm sure there must be more thoughts that I'm missing that can boost my physical instrument capabilities, because I do need to boost this, or at least find something else that will reset the check. So what am I gonna drop? Lonesome Long Way Home? I think so. And then I'll figure out what else to throw in there afterward. None of these seem like they would go for... Oh, none of these seem like they would do anything for me as far as checks go. So I'm going to hold off and maybe I'll pick up another one along the way. We'll see.
Give me a moment.
Oh, what is this? How did I miss all this? The sea below looks cold and winter gray. Book, 16 Days of Coldest April. Okay. Which book did I just pick up? You. The cover features a row of concrete buildings with a monochrome rainbow in the sky. It tells a rather excruciating story about two lovers during the period of ethnic unrest in Yugograd. The book has been filed under psychological realism.
In your hands, you hold 16 Days of Coldest April by Yekaterina Dar. The cover image shows a row of concrete apartments above which span a black and white rainbow.
It feels heavy.
Indeed, the book is unusually heavy in your hands, as though the cover were lined with lead. It would do that in Grad.
How long is this book anyway?
You flip through the book. The pages are thinner than you realized, and the type quite small and tightly set. It's nearly 600 pages long.
Wow.
Real art is dense and difficult. If it didn't feel like you had to wrestle a suicidal bear to get through it, you weren't really reading.
Okay, let's look at the back cover. See if there's like a just like a summary or something.
The back cover is dominated by a black and white photograph of the author.
And what does she look like?
She can't be much older than her mid-30s in this photograph. And yet, from this cover, the eyes of a sad old woman stare back at you.
Alright, let's start reading.
In cold, detached prose, the author describes a scene from one of the Yugoslavia riots in the 20s. Youths overturned motor carriages and set trash cans ablaze, while heavily armored guardsmen dash in and disperse them in a flurry of baton blows. The Yugoslavia riots took place from 27 to 29. Fueled by ethnic unrest and the state's repressive tactics, these events are often seen as marking the end of a brief period of liberalization known as the Yugoslavia Spring. Like all such periods, it is frequently memorialized in art and literature.
Of course.
As ethnic tensions run wild, a pair of young lovers meet each other on the street. Somehow, in the middle of all the chaos, they manage to lock arms and look into each other's eyes.
What happens next?
It would physically hurt you to keep reading. Are you sure?
Yep, read 10 more pages.
They go through a brief and somewhat awkward love affair.
Wow,
And in the
double
end, they
double
betray
whammy.
each other and succumb to the absurdity of Gradian life. The man becomes a lens grinder, completely abandoning his former existence. He toils through the daily drudgery at the Lenka Polyfabricate. Happiness and fulfillment have eluded him his whole life. And in the end, he has nothing to do but dedicate himself to the craft.
And the woman?
She spends the next several decades standing at a conveyor in a Sosnovo fish processing plant. The smell of fish guts slowly seeps into her hair and skin, as every single one of her dreams dies, one by one.
It is a bit too realistic, I guess.
The memory of their short time spent together tortures the former lovers ceaselessly until the end of their days. Years pass in solitude, their bodies growing ever more decrepit.
This is terrible.
As life leaves their remains between the soil sheets, their final thoughts are filled with regret.
Wow, damn. Okay, let's put that away then. Can I just sell this? I would like to sell this book. I would like to no longer have it on me. Cindy, you want to chat?
Hello again.
Nope. Alright. Went to the village on the coast, officer. See you there. Joyce, says a note on the post. Oh, okay. Strange. Joyce has actually moved. Interesting. I guess I can meet her at the village then. Now that I think about it, maybe there's a shirt that can give me physical instrument. That might help. Would putting this on actually unlock the check for me? Probably not, but Oh, I have that bug again.
The tracks are as they have ever been, a bit more worn perhaps. Fortunately, the street sweeper still hasn't noticed their presence.
This is where I started off with my motor carriage, before sinking it into the sea.
No wonder the cafeteria manager seemed frustrated when he was giving us directions to the yard. Well, you did provide us with a very convenient access point to the crime scene.
That I did. Let's go. Hey bud, might you have some clothes for me? Possibly, hopefully. Something, anything?
Hello, hello. Let me know if I can help you with anything. Sure, let me have a look. I'm not purchasing any more clothing. Anything else you're thinking of selling?
I think I'm past the point where I need this gun. I think. Because it's definitely not usable. I've already matched it with the bullet. And I've already talked about it with the Hardy Boys. So I don't actually think I need this anymore. So I'm going to toss it. Kind of tempted to get rid of this too. But I'm going to hold on to it for now until I resolve whatever Suna's dealing with, because it's possible she might want this from me. Otherwise, it is worth quite a bit. So I'll hold off for now. Yep. Oops.
Another time, perhaps.
Okay.
You see rows of toy soldiers guarding big men along all the old.
This is not going as well as I'd hoped. Oh. A faint smell of soldering, melted insulation, nylon and ozone. Oh. A cluster of polychromatic flyers blow by in the breeze. Now, where's Joyce? Didn't she say she was here? Oh yeah. Fascinating. I didn't think that she would move. Hey, you probably have new conversations for me here then.
I'll just keep the Cordeleche in the channel, if that's okay. It's too shallow near the pier.
That's okay. She winds the mooring line around a post.
Hi, ma'am. And it's a jetty, by the way. Of course. Jetty. I prefer a good jetty to a pier any day. Jetty?
Sure.
Something about the way she says it makes you want to sing.
Jetty jetty.
Oh, jetty, oh, jetty.
She responds mirthfully.
It's good to see you here, detectives. I only just arrived myself.
And then she secures the mooring line.
What brings you here, madame?
Nothing, really. I've had my eye on this jetty for weeks now, so I decided to investigate it personally. This cluster of buildings isn't on any of the official maps, as far as I can tell.
That. And she's also keeping an eye on you.
Have you been spying on us?
Spying has such a negative connotation. I did track your progress along the coast, however, and decided I would be better able to assist you from here. Then there's the matter of that little scamp in old lady clothes. She threatened to paint the Cordeleche red. Like blood, you see. Well, I like it the way it is. White.
You're talking about, Cindy, right?
What is this? Destruction of property, hooliganism, elder abuse, and who is this scamp anyway?
Who is this scamp? Want me to look into it?
No need. Lillian and I are getting on much better. For one, she appreciates the concept of rent.
So, how do you like it here? Look around.
How do I like it?
She casts her gaze towards the village. Slush melting on the cinder blocks, construction work left half-finished 10 years ago.
Water drips down eaves of eternite. The jetty below her feet creaks to the tune. The smell of salt and dog shit in the background.
Oh, great.
It's pornographically poor.
That's what
The
I
street
said.
has no name. All the men are dead or missing. And is that the carcass of a motor carriage over there?
She squints her eyes. Don't look at it. Don't look at my shame.
Fortunately for you, madame, the RCM is on the scene.
All right. Politics time. Let's react.
Okay.
Real men, real politics, real thoughts in your head.
Place is doomed either way.
Maybe.
She leans against the railing, looking up at the gray sky. I was actually trying to get the moralist thing to boost it, but
Have I told you how they discovered this place?
the wind picks up. Her raincoat flaps in the gust. This island?
No. They're in Sealindian, Isola.
No, you haven't told me how they found it.
Well, your condition has left you no worse off than most of these people. The literacy rate is around 45% west of the river.
Okay, that's
50
pretty
years
low.
of occupation have left these people in an oblivion of poverty.
That sucks. Oblivion. That's so me. 45% is around where I operate. Things are getting better, though.
I knew you would sympathize.
She nods.
Most Revacholians will never know what this place means. Our home. This island of matter. Or why they were ferried over in the first place.
Were they ferried over? Did we not originate from here? I guess not, right? This place was discovered. Huh.
Remind me to tell you one day. For now, how can I assist you in this new location?
She corrects the scarf around her neck. Tell me now, we have time.
Do we?
He glances at his watch. It doesn't look like he does.
I hear you have singled out a suspect and are in pursuit. This is cause for cautious optimism. I would not want to delay you.
No, but I want to hear everything about the lore, so go ahead, hit me with it.
This story she will tell only before she leaves Martinez.
Oh.
At the very end of her stay.
Alright.
Maybe there is something else I can assist you with while you're hot in pursuit.
Show her your badge. I found my badge, by the way.
By love, you did.
She inspects the piece of blue plastic, her eyes scanning from left to right.
Fast, observantly, like an electronic printer.
Pleased to meet you, Lieutenant W. Freighter Dubois. I am glad to see a man of high qualification. The situation is precarious.
She hands it back to you.
What can I help you with, Lieutenant Freighter? More lessons in basic reality?
Ooh.
My favorite part of the day. Go ahead, ask me anything.
I apparently can unlock this check at some point. 83%. What is... Think of something close to me.
6 kilometers southwest, in the Valley of Dogs, Junior Officer Chad Tilbrook takes aim at a rabid black dog licking its wounds in the grass. To his left, his partner, Emil Mullins, whispers, "You heard what happened to Tequila Sunset in Martinez?" "Yes, he lost his mind," Tilbrook answers, fingers on the trigger. "Don't worry, Emil." He pulls it out slowly. Slowly now. He'll find it again. We always do.
What am I?
You? You're an officer of the RCM.
She says energetically. The Revachol Citizens Militia?
Preciso mundo.
Good. And what is the Revachol Citizens Militia?
Nothing more nor less than the de facto law enforcement body of post-revolutionary Revachol, Detective.
Yes, we are the Revachol Citizens Militia.
The lieutenant steps in to make a gesture encompassing you both.
He's being sarcastic.
Are we? Oh, you said de facto?
Yes. That means not de jure. The RCM acts in what is poetically called the twilight of international law, both at the behest of the coalition government and to its chagrin.
What do you mean?
The RCM's responsibilities are defined by the Emergency, Wayfarer and Aliments Acts, 3 pieces of legislation keeping the city in a, let's be honest, laissez-faire stasis to the benefit of foreign capital.
Of course.
All 3 are good to know when we are out policing.
The lieutenant looks up from his notes. So I'm basically a thrall to foreign interests?
There's nothing basic about your role, Detective. It's true that the RCM keeps everything the way our seemingly permanent provisional rulers like it.
Yeah. She leans in.
Yet, on the other hand, I know these people. I deal with them daily. Let me tell you, dear, they are not fans of you.
Why?
The post-revolutionary decade was a disaster for the coalition government. Revachol in the 20s was hell, especially on the west side of the river. Gang warfare, a botched privatization scheme, a nuclear pile meltdown.
I think I heard about that. Yeah, that's why, what's his name in the pawn shop is the way he is.
They called it the International Zone because no nation wanted to claim responsibility. The RCM restored peace where the coalition failed. A true blue citizens' initiative. They will never forgive you.
He smiles.
That's somewhat of an exaggeration. In reality, ours is a mutually beneficial arrangement.
The lieutenant interjects.
Revacholians get to keep the peace in Revachol, and the coalition doesn't have to worry about it. Anyway, sorry to intrude. Please continue.
Yes, Lieutenant. Permit me to conclude with this. Who you are, to me, is the police. The only legitimate law enforcement authority in Revachol.
Thank you, ma'am.
And if those authorities drink so hard they need help recalling the basic terms of reality, well, I'm here to help.
She bows and smiles. I appreciate that, though. You are providing me with so much background information in this game. What was the RCM again?
Nothing more nor less.
Yep, okay, we're just going over it again.
We are.
Yes.
Okay.
Permit me to... And if those authorities drink so hard they need help recalling the basic terms, glad to have been of assistance. Oh?
Ooh. So I've been dealing with Evrart again. Ma'am, this whole thing is a takeover. Yeah, pretty much.
A takeover?
Yeah, I need to tell her this stuff. This is important. Yes, it's not a strike. You aren't being let in because there's nothing to negotiate. The Union is taking the terminal. Oh, I'm going to tell him about the drug trade. He has told me so in his own words. He's taking it. He'll also use the drug trade to finance the harbor. I'm going to say 1, and then if it allows me, I'll talk about 2.
If they're taking it...
She looks towards a colorful mountain of crates, like toy blocks, rising above Martinez.
Green livery, changing into red, blot by blot. Like a cancer of the blood, metastasizing.
Then we're talking about a war. Evrart needs to let me into the harbor at once. We need to talk about this.
He's ready for a war. They all are.
They most certainly are not. Crenel has 1,000 men on their payroll. The next batch will be a platoon of 20 men and a gunship.
Her eyes return to you.
I've seen the Union's forces. They are better organized than these mercenaries. They also have the support of the people of Revachol West. It will take more than Crenel to wipe them out. Wild Pines will need to send more and better equipped men. Make no mistake, ma'am. I am sure you have the money. The question is, how many years and how many lives are you willing to sacrifice?
What do you suggest I do?
First, will this affect your decision-making process?
Everything affects the decision-making process, Detective.
Fair enough.
Officer?
Oh, the look on the lieutenant's face conveys uncertainty. He doesn't even sound angry.
For once, I don't seem to know what the right thing to do is.
Yeah. I wish there was a disco option. It's not the RCM's job to make these decisions, it's true. The workers should have the harbor. But the leader is slimy. Cut off the snake's head. Everard's pushing all this. True. If they could get a better representative. Yeah, I'm kind of like, if they can get a better representative. At least like a more, how do I put it? A more, trustworthy one, right? Like someone who's actually willing to negotiate. He's pushing
like
it.
The previous leaders of the Union were assassinated. I suspect by Evrart and Edgar themselves.
Most likely, she considers it.
I admit there's some poetry in the idea, and like poetry, it's also useless. There would still be Edgar. They factored it in. The Union is them, and they are Martinez.
True. I've also never met Edgar. Huh, so what are you going to do then?
What will I do?
She says, slowly looking around.
Her arms fall to her sides. Her spine relaxes.
Did I ever tell you how they discovered this Isola? During our reality lowdown?
The wind blows, waves crash in the distance. She crosses her arms and asks, well, no, you literally told me like 20 minutes ago that you would tell me when you're about to leave. So, you said you would. One day.
It may be the only break we've ever caught as a species. The last one for 400 years.
She nods. Why?
The nations who colonized this Isola called theirs Muindi, the world. It was all they knew, all they thought would be. That there would be something more was a gamble, akin to another world, or life after death. The Pale was thought to be impregnable, perpetual. Irene la Navigateur, the Queen of Suren, sent 8 expeditions, one after the other, into the mass at the edge of the world. 5 of the crews did not return. 2 did, but had lost their minds.
8? Is that a normal number?
It was anything but normal. There was no precedent. People thought she was punishing the admirals, or had gone mad, or both.
Is she the same one who was advised by Dolores Day, though?
Until after years of trial and error.
I don't
and the
remember if that was the
development
same
of a
ruler.
strict psychological regime imitating the creation process of poetry.
Called Volta Doma, or Return from the Sea.
The 8th expedition returned sane and intact. They told of a new continent of matter. They told the Queen and her counselor, Dolores Day, that the Pale had begun to condense, day after day, hour after hour, minute after minute.
Okay, so it is the same queen. So she did this at the behest of Dolores Day, which is still suspicious because Dolores and all the innocences might be a little bit more than human, which is kind of cool, but also like kind of eldritch horror-y in my book, like the way I'm seeing it at the moment, which still adds to it adds to the mystery, right? Like it adds to the tantalizing little tidbits that I have about this this world and this setting, and it's really interesting. Okay.
Slowly raining down until it formed a vast ocean.
The air is cold and scented with petrichor.
This ocean?
The phenomenon has never again been encountered. For a time, the crew thought they were experiencing a hallucination. The mass hand proclaimed, "Lancielinde, Lancielinde," the signal to wake up. But they could not. They were sane and conscious, as islands began to appear on the horizon. There are 78,000 uninhabited islands in the Insulindian archipelago, officer. The freckled face of God.
You've thought it a million times.
She smiles. After life, death. After death, life again. After the whirl, the pale. And after the pale, the world again.
A total shift.
She nods.
In human comprehension of reality. On the second day, a great skua was shot down above the flagship Lizargique. The bird was preserved and brought back, along with pollen. 4 years later, the Queen's Counselor was proclaimed Her Innocence Dolores Day, the elected world spirit. The age of humanism, internationalism, and parliamentary rule followed. We were high.
The Great Skua was the first bird they saw?
The first living, autonomous organism. Proof of reality. It's the symbol of Insulinde, Detective. The coat of arms of the suzerain and the wings on the crest of the commune.
I seem to have it in for me. Or it for me. Oh, sorry. I seem to have it in for it. Or it for me. I broke one.
In your defense, it is a nasty creature who plucks food from the throats of lesser birds. Yet much like Revachol, it is also magnificent. And rare. Imagine the suzerain of seagulls.
Leaving us here.
On Caillou. The Pebble. The largest of the fertile, uninhabited islands of the northeast Insulindian archipelago. 4 centuries and 2 revolutions later.
She studies your reaction. And this was the last break we got?
The nations of Mundi proceeded to discover 5 more Isolae. Or they discovered us. All in the rush of the great inter-Islary reconnection. But these others weren't uninhabited. We had to kill people there. Wipe out indigenous populations. Gunboat economies. Or they came to do the same for us. Or had done to each other. But here...
She spreads her arms.
There was no one but the Skua. The Liliat Sea. And the Blood Beach. And the River Esperance. It was the new world. The Mondials used it to amass the greatest concentration of wealth mankind has ever seen. Revachol. The suzerain.
What happened? Look around.
Revolution. Poverty. And the mercurial rise of capitalism.
Of course. She nods. And what will you do now?
I will surrender Terminal B to the Union.
Really? Is that within your means?
She puts her hand in the rain.
I like that it started snowing now.
For a second.
We will see.
Ma'am, this may well unravel property law this side of the river. If that occurs, we may never see the end of this kind of confrontation. The next time there will be 2 strikes, then 4, then 100.
He looks towards the harbor. Yeah, pretty much. If you give it up after 1 strike, they're gonna get bold.
What happens will happen.
She takes the end in her rain-slick hand and starts untying the knot.
The age of capital has only begun. I will talk to my employers in person. We will amputate and cauterize Martinez. If you handle the situation on the ground.
You're going to go now?
Yes, Mr. Clare has a 2-month head start. I can't let it grow any bigger. And I've exhausted all my options from here.
Fair enough. 72% chance? Rhetoric. We. She generally avoids that term with her employers. True.
There are no employers. She's a member of the board.
Oh.
Probably a partner.
Oh, I see. That makes sense. Okay. So you are Wild Pines. There are no employers.
You are the citizens' militia. There are no superiors.
She turns to you, rope in hand. Sure, I am. Nod.
You're wrong, detective. And next time, you should confer with those superiors before you go setting events in motion.
Okay, fair enough. I knew there were I knew I had supervisors, but I just wanted to be cool in the moment, okay? Kim, you didn't have to ruin that for me.
Despite his words, he's not really sure whether to be annoyed with you or not. Events are already in motion. Whether your actions accelerated or momentarily retarded their progress, even the lieutenant cannot really say.
Even after all this time, I still don't really understand who you are or what your angle is.
I have not deceived you. I told you exactly who I was. Rejoice Layton.
But you're Joyce Messier here. Anyway, understood. Let her go.
Keep the peace, and I will keep my end of the bargain.
Sure.
How far along is Crenell's investigation?
A confrontation is imminent. They have followed in your footsteps. As your investigation reaches a climax, so does theirs. They are your shadow. Arm yourselves. Armor yourselves.
Will do.
Protect their targets. Violence may be unavoidable, but we can limit the casualties.
When will they make their move? Where?
Soon. I do not know precisely. They have cut off all communication, you see. They know I've been feeding you information. One last thing, Lieutenant Dubois. I've given the matter much thought and come to this conclusion. You're not an amnesiac. You're insane.
Oh, well that's not much better, is it? Thank you, Joyce.
I know, because I too am insane. I just hide my illness better. And I'm rich.
Isn't everyone a little insane?
No, detective. No one's as insane as you.
Don't worry, madame. I am very sane.
Thanks, Kim. You're overradiated?
I'm overexposed, baby.
Yeah,
My
true.
travels take me through the Pale dozens of times a year. I've got the longing. And I've got it bad.
She points to her heart.
She would die to return to it. The Pale. The past. Anything one can return to.
How do you keep your shit together?
The same strict psychological regimen the 8th Admiral developed when he crossed the Pale and discovered this Isola. The Volta do Mar. It's used by inter-Easlary travelers and other troubled souls, even to this day.
I suddenly realized that I can just apply a thought whenever, so I should really throw in a thought while I'm having this conversation. The Insulindian Miracle. I think I'm going to throw this one in, because this seems like very endgamey, considering she's actually leaving permanently now, and she's warning me that I'm about to get jumped. Let's take a look. You are reminded of a poem somewhere deep within you, the translation of which you don't remember. Nulla sarà cambiato della luce. It begins, a colori cum grigio e marrone, tutti stampati uno sull'altro, trovai un vuoto, una macchia bianca, gli altri guardarono, che bella giornata, che bel tempo, ma senti la rotativa. You're reminded of it when you heard about the discovery of Insulindi. But what does it mean? And how do you know it by heart? Good question. Let's pretend I didn't butcher every single sentence of that, but it is what it is. I don't speak Latin, or whatever language that was.
You could use a little of it yourself.
Goodbye, Rejoice Layton.
Watch out for yourselves. They will strike soon.
Thank you. Find a solution to the strike deadlock. Okay. Oh, I guess that makes sense. It is still her name. Rejoice L. Messier. Alright.
The lieutenant watches her boat grow smaller on the bay, its white sails fluttering. With worry in his eyes, he does not know if it was the right thing to do, but he doesn't say anything. You wonder what Everard has to say about this. Slowly, the sails turn grey-blue as more oxygen gets between you.
I guess I could go back and tell Everard about it now. This is making a turn. Like, this is getting real serious, right? Like, I'm kind of pretty certain. I'm like 90% sure we're taking on the endgame now because I don't really have much else to do. And things are being set into motion that I can't take back. So, we'll see how that goes. I still need to figure out how to... Oh, right, I can't take on the responsibility until I do the ice cream maker for Suna. Then she'll deal with this for me. All of these, I've already said this before, will require me to do the, to do that quest as well. Okay. You have any dialogue about that? You just met
the sea's gonna calm
Joyce.
down soon, I can feel it. The wind is turning southeast.
Nope. Anyone else with new dialogue around here? Hey kids, you see anyone weird recently?
The scruffy-haired little boy kicks a stone while the other watches him do it.
Kids, have you seen any bad people around?
What bad people?
One of the twins looks up, his mouth slightly open.
I don't think questioning 4-year-olds without their parents present is gonna crack the case.
Says the lieutenant. Okay, fair, true.
Then we're definitely doing it.
Okay, bye kids. What about the other one?
Scruffy-haired.
Nope. What about the kid inside? Yo, you seen any bad people?
Hello, mister.
Ooh, the net picker's daughter waves at you.
Bye.
Goodbye. Sorry, I needed to click on this
Is that
first.
the phasmid?
What?
It looks like the phasmid, leaning against the wall.
What do you mean?
Wait. What if this is the fishing rod situation all over again?
You did mention a fishing rod in Everard's office. Is that what this is all about? Try to sneak up on the phasmid.
It's not the phasmid. It's not even organic. It's a fire iron. How disappointing.
Oh, I can't believe it.
Right? You'll have better luck next time, though. The phasmid, finding it is your destiny.
Okay, give the dream of discovering the Insulindian phasmid a rest. For now. Okay, well that was weird. Back to it.
Mister, what were you doing in my fireplace?
There was a phasmid in it. I was trying to catch it.
Oh. Okay.
She nods seriously. Alright. Do you know anyone named Ruby?
Ruby. Ruby.
Suddenly, the girl gets all serious and leans in as if she's about to tell you a secret.
My mom tells me I'm a big girl, but she doesn't know that I can't say Earl. Or like, sometimes I can, but then
You'll get there.
Kids.
The lieutenant shakes his head. Yeah, true.
Bye.
Okay. Bye. Friendly kid. Okay. I guess the old lady would probably have some information. Or the drunks.
Our tenant, the policeman. I hope the waves don't keep you up at night. What can I help you with?
Have you seen a red-haired woman named Ruby around the coast?
Nay, I haven't seen anyone lately.
Well, that's because you're blind, if I recall correctly.
Because she's blind?
Yeah.
Which you seem to have forgotten.
Oh, because you're blind, right.
He's a sharp one.
She says to herself and runs her hand across the washboard.
She's being evasive. She knows something.
Okay.
There was a murder in Martinez.
He points east.
She might be a suspect. We would appreciate your help.
Would you now? I know how this world works. And it doesn't work when people tell on each other.
This is like when that man locked himself in the woodshed. We just need to help her come out.
No, it's not like that, man. With him, we called you. Right now, you just arrive by yourself, like a raven plucking at the window glass.
Enough of this. She better start talking right now.
Well, we don't have to threaten her. I see. You know something, but you've decided not to tell us.
There's not much to tell. People come and go. Now, was there something else?
No.
I see, ma'am. I hope you don't mind if we look around anyway.
The lieutenant turns to you.
You should look around your shack. Maybe she's rented it out to others too.
Okay. I was gonna ask Lily about it. Let's ask Lillian about it. We went on a date.
Either he's gonna calm down soon.
I'm looking for someone else.
Who?
I'm looking for a suspect who may have stayed in this neighborhood.
Okay. When did this person stay here?
Very recently, over the past few days. She might have arrived on Friday.
Oh. I've been out on the sea for most of the past week.
Oh.
The weather's been good for fishing, so I usually start at 4 in the morning.
She looks slightly disappointed. Really?
Yes, that's the optimal time. Got to make the most of the calm. I've been sleeping like a corpse after. The sea really takes its toll. Now I'm just waiting for the wind to settle to get out there again.
Fair
Sorry
enough.
I couldn't help you out. Maybe I can help you find someone else.
A faint smile runs across her face. That's it. I'm not looking for anyone else right now.
Really? Are you sure you're not also looking for Nadia Harnancourt? Or Ignis Nielsen? Or the great lost city of Ace under the waves?
I am looking for a lot of stuff, aren't I?
A lot of stuff.
She concurs with a smile. Yeah, that's what cops do. I guess so. It doesn't feel a lot like a lot to me. I could be doing more. Maybe there's someone missing from your life?
Oh.
Ooh.
There's plenty missing. But that's too much for even an eager terrier like you to handle. Although you seem very thorough. Tell me, instead, is there something else I can help you with?
Be seeing ya. Okay, I wonder if this thought will do it for me. Searchlight Division. Missing persons cases just really get to you. It's hard watching people worry about their loved ones. The little nervous movements, the dark rings around their eyes from sleepless nights, and even if there are no loved ones waiting, you like to have all your ducks in a row, and it really bothers you when whole entire people aren't accounted for. That is true. Bonuses from the thought. Find better loot in locked containers. I don't often run into locked containers, though. Let's be honest here. And again, because I'm kind of suspecting that we're getting to the end of the game, I don't think there's going to be many more opportunities for loot. So I'm going to drop this one. And I'm going to grab the new one that we just unlocked, which is Searchlight Division. Alright, we'll see how this goes. Maybe the drunks can help me out. They're basically like the last people chilling, right? Hello there. The drunk man speaks in his sleep. Drool dribbles from the left side of his mouth and down his jacket lapel.
There's no waking him from his stupor. His mind is elsewhere.
Alright, I'll talk to this guy.
The legend returns. You know the dance. Smokable smokes, pissable pilsner. Drink it, then convert it to piss. And there's spirits and speed too.
I feel like this would help me with the check, but I want to play the game sober, so I don't want to buy anything from him. Alright, I'm off. What about you?
Tequila Sunset.
That's me. Have you got any more urban myths?
I actually do have one. The strangest of them all. But I'll need to fortify myself before I can tell that one. Do you have anything to fortify old Doom Spiral? Tell me you got some story juice.
I don't have any right now.
Any.
I don't know if I'll find any, but I can just buy some straight up off this guy, right? So I'll do it.
The legend returns. You know the dance.
Pilsner's $1.50.
Smoke a bottoms up, Captain.
Bye. Oh.
Tequila Sunset.
I found another batch of alcohol. Can you tell me the third story now?
Of course. Drink first, story later.
He holds out his palm. Here, I've got a potent Pilsner.
Not much, but it will do.
He grabs the bottle from your hand and uncorks it immediately.
This last one is the most Martinet story I've ever heard.
He takes an almost comically long swig. Thus fortified, he continues.
I've never heard it mentioned outside of here. At first, I thought it was a joke, to be honest. But I've been on the coast 8, 9 months now, and in that time, I've seen at least 3 expeditions come through, searching for something.
Cryptids?
Magic animals? No, man, this is serious stuff.
Your lost keys?
Hey! Fuck you, Tequila.
he says, his voice level. A place to call home?
No, Tequila. Most people already know where they live. It's guys like you and me that are the exceptions.
Okay, what kind of expeditions then?
All kinds. I've seen archaeologists, gangsters, even a bunch of ad agency types. I'm telling you, Tequila, this thing's got a pull on certain kinds of people.
Wait, what do you mean by certain kinds of people?
You know, obsessive types. People with predilections.
And what exactly are we talking about here?
Some of those expeditions come back after a week or so, looking haggard and dejected. Others don't return at all. The first time I saw one of these expeditions, I thought they were fucking with me. There was no way it could be true. It was just too high concept, even for me.
Wait. There's no way.
What?
It can't be. Or can it?
I'm not even sure I should be telling you this story, to be perfectly honest. You're in a fragile state, and it might be too much for you to handle.
I've got healing items if I need it. I can handle it.
Okay, fine. I'll tell you. But I'm warning you, it's pretty out there. Our story begins at a legendary design studio, right here in Martinez.
His eyes narrow with mystery. Are you going to be talking about the gaming studio?
There was this designer. His exact name is lost to history, but in life, he was a legend. Made it big in Aranya, where he did some real pioneering work on grotesque and sans serif typography. A fucking genius, man.
He takes a swig,
that is,
wipes his mouth, and then continues.
Who knows? It's an urban legend, after all.
He existed, all right. You feel it deep within your basal ganglia. He was as real as you are.
So what the hell are you talking about?
I'm talking about...
Anyway, sometime later he started his own personal studio here in Martinez. And that's when he started working on some really wild stuff. I'm talking some glass-smooth, forward-looking design language, the kind of thing that would totally overthrow the old regime, design-wise.
A paradigm-shattering revolutionary?
But then something turned. You see, it's widely known that nose candy and pioneer graphic design work go hand in hand.
Wait, nose candy?
You know Tequila, nose candy, the white railroad, party powder.
He taps the side of his nose twice.
The kids on the streets also call it Snow Day.
Really?
Or Emelan gold. For the plateau on which most of the world's supply is grown and harvested. Typically by slave labor.
Sinus salt, the white knight.
Can't see, for its popularity among the aristocratic class of the prior century.
Along with a number of more banal street names. Blow, of course, but also flake, powder, pearl. Really, anything that's white will work.
Makes sense?
He's talking about cocaine.
Yes, I know. Oh, you mean cocaine?
Shit yeah, Tequila. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
He gives you a comradely bump on the shoulder as a couple millimeters of booze slosh out of his bottle. So what happened to him?
You've got to understand, the work this guy was doing was so high concept that regular amounts of cocaine just weren't cutting it. By the end, they were bringing it in by the lorry load. Now, as you might imagine, snorting that much cocaine can't be healthy for a regular human, right?
Yes, that sounds correct.
Right. Wrong. Do it all the time.
All the time?
All day, baby.
Pass.
Hey, Tequila, pay attention. The story goes that one day he was balls deep in work on what he thought would be his pièce de résistance, an advert so minimal it contained neither text nor images, just pure white.
Wait, are you talking about yourself?
Apparently the idea was too high concept
Nope,
even
never
for
mind.
this genius. He dropped dead right at his desk before he could finish. His last words are recorded to have been, "It's as white as a blizzard of cocaine."
Okay, that's pretty dumb. What a loss for the world of design.
I know, Tequila. I know.
He takes a swig, considers pouring some out for this lost genius, and then thinks better of it.
But the story doesn't end there. Supposedly, when they performed the autopsy, the coroner discovered nearly a quarter kilo of coke jammed into his nasal cavity.
That sounds like a lot of coke.
That's almost certainly anatomically impossible.
Also true.
Wrong again, nerd. Where there's a will, there's a way.
That's right. 250 grams of blow had accumulated in there over the years. We're talking high-grade Saramaritsian pure. Not that cut-rate shit your grandma does. There are those who believe the designer was buried with this quarter key of nose candy still lodged in his sinuses. That's what those expeditions are looking for.
I find it hilarious that we went all through this entire story, and that is what the expeditions that he was talking about is looking for? Alright, sure.
The cocaine skull.
The cocaine skull?
The cocaine skull.
Wow. And why do people think the skull is here in Martinez?
Here's the kicker. This designer, this lead designer of a world-famous design studio, was born in Martinez. A local boy, Martin Martinez.
Please don't tell me that's the guy's name.
That's why he brought his studio here, back to where it all began. And that's why they buried him here, too. Perhaps right under Ab's pipe there.
He points to the pipe.
Or probably further down the coast, or in some yard in Martinez proper. A hidden mausoleum. No one knows exactly.
No, my grandma always told me his grave lay somewhere on the islets on the bay.
This is ludicrous.
Yep.
And physically impossible. Sinuses can contain that amount of anything.
The lieutenant turns to you.
Now, detective. Always the skeptic. My only question is, where does one get a shovel?
And what do these expeditions plan to do with it?
The archaeologists say they want to put it in a museum. The gangsters say they want to sell it on the black market. And the ad agency guys say they're seeking inspiration.
I hope no one's looking to snort, I don't know how long ago now, but like, let's say a decade-old cocaine that had been accumulated inside a dead man's nose. Yeah. Okay.
Bullshit. They just want to snort it.
Also
but
true.
You could beat them to it, Harry. You could snort the magic skull cocaine instead.
Let's not do that.
I'm pretty sure they all just want to snort it, though.
Of course.
And why wouldn't they, eh? Sounds like right strong stuff.
Rosemary, you said something about islets?
Don't listen to him or his grandma. He's just making things up.
No, my grandma told me. I've heard other people say it too. That it's underwater. Or no, maybe it was the storm sewers.
Is that like that door that I couldn't gain access to because I'm too weak? Like the 3% entry thing?
Or maybe it's in the air. Or in an ancient step pyramid offshore.
In a pyramid? Now that would be something.
What have you learned from the other expeditions?
They're pretty vague about it in general. The gangsters like to claim they're looking for the grave of a friend, with picks and shovels. The archaeologists act all official about it, saying they're conducting serious research. Honestly, I think they're not really scientists, just rich. The junkies, for some reason, are pretty upfront about it. They just say they're looking to snort some blow out of a dead man's nasal cavity.
This is precisely what I said I was hoping they were not looking to do, but okay.
Honest men on an honest quest. You should join them.
By now, I'd say I know about as much about it as anyone on the coast.
Okay, I'm convinced. Let's go find it.
Whoa. Hold on just a minute. Finding it right now is literally impossible.
Why is that?
What?
Why?
For one, the way is blocked by that big lorry that says Delta Logistics Company on the side. You definitely have to search the area behind that lorry too, yet it is impassable. And second, outfitting an expedition like that is expensive. It'd have to be a big production to do the cocaine skull justice. You need new gear, people who know what they're doing, all kinds of provisions. It's just not feasible within the economic and temporal frame of our current setup. Matter of fact, unless a bunch of money just falls out of the sky, we might never know what's up with that skull.
I've got $30. That should be enough to fund an expedition, right?
I have to agree. We barely have what we need to solve the case we've got now. We can't afford to run around chasing after quasi-mythical pieces of drug paraphernalia.
True.
Besides, it would look extremely bad for the RCM to be caught up in something that has the word cocaine writ large on it. The PR is tricky on this.
Damn, that's too bad.
Wait, maybe there's another way. Maybe up around the coast? Don't give up now.
Yeah, well, that's the reality situation for you. Who knows, though? Maybe someday we'll get our chance.
Are there any other stories that you can tell?
Not that I can think of, currently.
I guess that makes sense. You have been drinking a lot.
That might be the case, yes.
Have you seen a red-haired woman named Ruby around here lately?
Can't really remember seeing any women after losing my keys.
It's a touchy topic. He hasn't got laid in ages.
Not what I'm asking.
He really has no idea who this Ruby is, sire.
Okay, be seeing ya. I'm kind of like, did I actually get a quest about the cocaine skull? But no, it doesn't look like it. Alright. Who else can I ask around here? Who else lives around here? The kids, yes I know. But no, I don't think there's anyone else. Oh yeah, that's right. They did say to check around the apartment, so I guess I'll do that. Don't mind me, lady, who doesn't want to give me any, any information. Ooh, floorboards, I see you.
As you look at the floorboards in this corner of the shack, it's clear one of them isn't quite level with the others. The edge of a floorboard next to it looks scratched.
Move the board aside.
Hollow space underneath the floorboards is dark and damp. You can barely make out the mixture of sand and sawdust below.
What's in here?
Nothing particular catches your eye. Looks like more reeds. There might be something hidden inside the sand, though. Something bad. Someone's night thoughts. A last resort. A bad idea.
Search through the sand and sawdust.
You stick your hand in and start combing through the sand. Dry, not like outside. Fine dust. And then something hard wrapped in paper.
What is it?
A small cylindrical object.
Oh.
You pull it out. A bullet.
9mm though. Well, the thing that killed the other guy was what, 4mm?
A 9mm bullet, to be exact. Fit for all muzzle loaders of that caliber.
Yeah, this bullet isn't for a breech loader like the murder weapon.
The floorboard isn't interested. Maybe the washerwoman is. You have enough to confront her with.
Okay.
It's extra ammunition. She's locked and loaded, ready to fight some cops. Holding the bullet, you get the feeling this isn't ammunition against you. It's for herself.
Alright, good to know. Hey lady, found a bullet in there.
Our tenant, the policeman. I hope the waves don't keep you up at night. What can I help you with?
Why was there a bullet under the floorboards of your shack?
Damn that girl.
She murmurs softly.
And without anger. A long and harsh life has taught her not to buckle under pressure.
A bullet?
The lieutenant turns to you and gives you a little nod, then turns to the washerwoman.
You didn't put it there, did you? She did.
Gone and hid things in there? She's usually a good tenant, and not a stupid one either.
She shakes her head. You rented the room to her?
Yes. I let my room to that Ruby girl.
She speaks slowly, wringing out a rag after a long silence. Her hands move into the water bucket. Some water sloshes over the edge.
As I've done before when she's been in trouble or just looking for solitude. I've made it clear. We welcome all kinds of people here.
And when was this?
She came last Friday, left on Monday in a hurry. What has she gotten herself into? That girl.
Her wrinkled hand needs a blue rag in the water.
She seems genuinely worried about her previous tenant. She's seen her hiding out from trouble before. But this seems different.
That's for the police to find out. Right then, please answer each question to the best of your ability. I'm sure we have a few.
The lieutenant takes out his familiar blue notebook. You said she left on Monday?
Yes, early with the dogs. Around 8 o'clock, I think.
She probably heard the lieutenant's Kanema drive by, and it woke her up, just like it did you.
That makes sense. Kim, she must have heard your Kanema.
Yes. That is a downside of having a 130 kilowatt engine.
His voice is tinged with pride.
Know when you're coming.
Is the room exactly as she left it?
I cleaned it. like I always do.
Was there anything else in there?
No,
The truth, sire.
What is she like, Ruby?
she's good company. Knows how to talk to an old woman. At my age, you don't get a lot of quality conversation. So I really appreciate that about her.
Fair enough.
Did she talk to you much during her last stay?
No, she was mostly silent this time. Kept to herself.
What do you mean?
She tried not to let it show, but I could tell she hadn't come to fish. Usually she likes to cast a few lines, but this time she mostly stayed in her room.
Why do you think she left the bullet there?
How would I know? She's a gruff one, but not violent. She doesn't go around toting a gun.
Speaking of a gun, I actually still need to meet up with those people, the pigs, who have my gun. She looks back towards her shack, thinking.
You could ask her about your hunch, that it was a desperate measure. See if she thinks Ruby fits the bill.
I have a possible explanation in my mind.
Aye, do tell.
A seagull flies overhead, obviously a bad omen. Sure, it's an exit plan.
Exit from what?
The world.
The lieutenant stops writing for a moment. He looks at you, then at the old woman.
No, she's a fighter.
She tilts her head to the side, looking up at you, deep in thought.
Not a quitter, like you sometimes get, son. She really believes that.
I heard that she's a heavy drinker with anger issues. You ever witnessed that kind of behavior?
Nothing of the sort. Sure, she was no stranger to the bottle. She fit in that way. But I only knew her to have a beer on the beach while watching the sunset.
She shakes her head.
She isn't what you'd call a drunk. Even offered me some from time to time. Said it was part of the communal life. But I never saw her lose control of herself the way some people do.
The way some people do. Yeah, let's not talk about myself and my binge drinking scenario. Did she have any technical equipment with her, like radio stuff?
Not that I knew of, though she was into nice music. She once showed me a few mixtape milieux she'd made.
She brushes her forehead with the back of her hand. Water drips to the ground.
Although I guess she was pretty handy with the mechanical and technical stuff. Even fixed the heater in the shack. You should be thankful for that.
Where did she go?
I don't know. Further up the coast. She tried to leave quietly, but the hinges on that door screeched like a cat in heat. Woke me up. I heard her rushing in those heavy boots, heading up north.
Heading north, okay.
You'll never find her, you know. She knows the coast like the back of her hand. You only just arrived.
Her tone is without malice.
I wouldn't worry about that, ma'am. We are persistent.
Further up the coast we go then.
Are you sure you'd rather stay here? Get a nice cozy fire going in the heater? Seems like a better idea to me.
She drops the rag into the bucket. It's clean now.
The felled electric mural.
Oh.
You feel like you should go look at it again. Step closer this time.
Okay, I'll do that.
What more do... Yes, one
Bye.
thing, officer. If you do find her, please go easy on her.
She looks around. The air is getting colder.
She really means it. It's an honest plea.
She's a good girl. Whatever she's gotten herself mixed up in.
Okay. I'll do my best. I've been told multiple times that she's potentially suicidal, so I will try my best to remain civil with her. I still have some 7 hours or so before, or not less than that, some 6 hours or so before I'm expected to meet up for my gun situation. I still haven't been to the boardwalk, I guess, to find the bullet traces. But I'm sitting on 30 gold and time to kill, so I think I'm going to actually go towards the bookstore. Yeah, I think I'm going to go to the bookstore and potentially buy some of the board games and read some of the books, because I know some people are interested in that. And I am too, so. Let's take a look. Helmdahl or board games? I kind of want board games.
A small mountain of colorful board game boxes. There are numerous types of games for all ages. A lot of shelf space seems to be taken up by Wirral-related merchandise.
$25 for the Wirral game. I'm kind of tempted by it, but I also kind of want the Suzerainty game. I wish I had more money. Because I'm thinking, if I buy the Suzerainty game, I can read that or play it. And then I could read another book around here, potentially. Versus I can buy the We're All game and only the We're All game. In future, if Suna no longer needs that the 50 real thing, then I can come back for the game, I think. I want to buy Suzerainty.
Wonderful choice, sir. A wholesome family game.
Wonderful. I will re-equip this. Suzerainty, a civilization building board game where you get to choose a nation and set off to colonialize and exploit other cultures. A star-shaped note on the box proclaims the game now includes a completely new genocide option. Oh, wonderful.
In your hands, you hold a brand new copy of the game, Suzerainty. It's snugly wrapped in a skin of plastic. The cover features a charming illustration depicting a mass of grinning laborers loading goods onto a ship, while a richly dressed administrator oversees their work. The exact location and time period are left deliberately vague, but it's clearly meant to represent the economic relationship between the Revacholian suzerainty and its many vassals.
I'm not going to shake the box because I don't want to break anything inside. Let's remove the plastic wrap.
The plastic wrap rips off as easily as a bodice in a tawdry historical romance.
That is very specific, but okay. Open the box.
There's a hiss as the lid slides off. Inside, you find a thick, full-color rulebook and more than a dozen pouches of various wooden components. Savor that new board game smell. A mix of wood, paper, and ink, all wrapped in the sweet must of cardboard.
This is an option I want to do. Let's read the rulebook first.
Welcome to Suzerainty, a game of economic strategy for the whole family. The rulebook is sumptuously illustrated and thick as a Gradian novel.
Economic strategy? More like rapacious plunder and exploitation. Finally, a proper game to teach children about the importance of trade and global economy. The history seems problematic, but it is important to teach children basic economic concepts. I agree.
The colorful illustrations depict cheerful workers picking apricots, hauling marble sculptures out of crumbling temples, and harvesting a strange magenta-leafed plant. Everyone is smiling.
Of course they are. This is propaganda, but it is what it is.
You begin to suspect there may be a political agenda to this so-called family game. Only one way to find out.
Keep reading.
The instructions are opaque at first and introduce many concepts you're not familiar with. Fortunately, there are many diagrams and examples throughout.
Okay.
You soon figure out the basic conceit. Each player represents an administrator for the suzerain of Revachol. Your objective is to increase the suzerain's wealth and renown by accumulating victory points.
Okay, and how do you accumulate the victory points?
That's where the suzerain's vassals come in. The game features 4 vassal nations, each one home to an economically important resource.
Okay.
Each turn, the player collects resources from vassals where they've placed workers. They may then rearrange their workers, fulfill contracts for coin and bonuses, or build structures back in Revachol. As you leaf through the pages, your eye catches on a sidebar labeled Advice for Beginners.
Let's read that advice.
Remember, there are many paths to victory in Suzerainty, but successful players will find one strategy and commit to it wholeheartedly.
Okay.
Boring, boring, boring. Tear up this rulebook and commit some old-school atrocities.
Pass on that. How is the winner determined?
The actual scoring system appears infinitely complex, with a series of tables and appendices required to compute each player's final victory point total. You skip that part for now.
Examine the components.
You open up a number of pouches containing wooden tokens. There are also several punch boards with other cardboard components that will need to be punched out before you can play.
Let's punch out the cardboard pieces one by one.
Each cardboard token makes a satisfying ch as you pop it out. Soon, a neat pile of cardboard coins and counters has accumulated before you.
What? You're not going to offer to let me punch any of them out?
Sorry. Check out the wooden tokens.
In addition to the worker and building tokens used by each player, there are also several piles of colorful resource tokens, each representing one of the game's 4 principal resources. From the Empire of Safre, orange apricot tokens. From Ilmarat, the ancestral name of Ilmara, gray marble block tokens. From the Seminine Islands, white sacks of sugar tokens. And from Supra Muindi and Sarah Maritza, magenta tokens for unprocessed cocaine leaves.
Oh, those are nice.
The lieutenant picks up a sugar token and admires it. Let's put the components away.
You hold the open game box before you.
Hey Kim, wanna play?
The lieutenant looks over the rulebook before he sees something that makes his eyes go wide.
Holy shit. The average playing time for this game is 1 to 6 hours.
That's actually perfect. If it's 6 hours, that gives me just enough time to go and get my gun. That's amazing. Do it.
I'm not sure we can afford to set aside that kind of time for a game.
I'm sure we can.
So he says, but his gaze lingers a moment longer on the rulebook than is strictly necessary. He could make time if he really wanted to.
83%. Plenty of time. Intriguing components. Go!
What is detective work if not an elaborate game?
Yes.
You need logical inference, attention to detail, the ability to analyze your opponent's motives.
Come on, it might help us think of more creative solutions to the case.
I do feel like my thinking has become somewhat rigid. Maybe a little diversion to keep the mind limber is just what's in order.
See? He's doing the hard work himself. All he needed was a little nudge.
Alright, you've convinced me. How do we play?
I read the rules already, I'll show you.
You explain the basic setup procedures to the lieutenant, who seems to be a quick study. You each take your bag of tokens and counters and unfold the board between you.
I hope Plaisance is okay that we're just playing a board game in the middle of her shop, but it's okay, no one else is in here.
In the center is the crown of Revachon. Radiating outward are her colorful vessels, each one supplying some raw material desired by the suzerain. Apricots from Safre, archaeological treasures from Ilmarat, sugars from the Seminine Islands, and magenta cocaine from Supra Muindi and Sarah Maritza. There's also a neat little log to keep track of your progress in case you need to put the game away and return to it later. The lieutenant goes first. He draws a contract card and moves several of his workers to the Safre territory of the board, and the others to the Seminine Islands.
Okay.
Alright, detective. Your turn.
You have a few options available to you. Will you try to fulfill contracts right away, or rearrange your workers to maximize production on future turns? Remember what the rulebook said. You'll want to choose a strategy early on and stay committed to it.
Yeah. I'm gonna let my workers rest for a while. I'm gonna go for the long game.
What? It's the very beginning of the game. Your workers haven't even done any work yet.
Also true. Okay, make them work a little, but not too much.
That's more like it. You produce a handful of archaeological treasures and a smattering of other resources. Meanwhile, the lieutenant spends 2 of his sugar and 1 of his apricot tokens to complete his contract card. He is rewarded with 4 coins and a round wooden token that he places in the center of the board.
That's a market. It's worth 2 victory points.
Can I do my first turnover? I think I messed up. Probably not. Hey, why don't I get one of those? Because I didn't do anything. I wasted my first turn. Whoopsie daisy.
Don't worry. It was mostly just luck. You'll earn some points soon enough.
How nice of him to keep me going.
What is that patronizing tone? You're one of the suzerain's trusted administrators. You may need to put the lieutenant in his place.
No, I'm good. Let's glower silently.
The lieutenant returns your baleful look with a satisfied grin. Come on, is that your game face? You're practically broadcasting your position to the lieutenant with that expression. Glancing over the board, you see several possible strategies. Pressing more workers into service would increase your economic output and help you to survive a possible conflict with the lieutenant. Or you could ignore your labor supply and focus on fulfilling contracts for points and resources.
I kind of feel like I should have gone for
Those aren't
points.
your only options.
I feel like I should have gone for fulfilling contracts in the early game and then worried about the late game.
You could
but it is what
also
it is.
show your workers how much you appreciate them by investing some of that wealth in them. After all, they're the ones producing wealth for the suzerain.
True.
Well, sure, you can do that. It's just not a terribly effective strategy, but then it's up to you.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to do that, but this is a board game, and I don't think it's built around doing that. So I'm going to press more workers into service.
Using your powers of persuasion, you convince more workers to join your cause. After several turns, your worker tokens greatly outnumber the lieutenants. A vast army of expendable labor is at your command.
I'll take pity on their miserable lives.
Too bad investing in your workers just isn't worth many points.
What do you mean?
Take a look at the scoring tables in the back.
The lieutenant turns into one of those appendices you skipped over earlier.
You see in Table 8C that investing in territorial infrastructure multiplies your final victory point total by 1, which is to say not at all. Whereas erecting monuments in Revachol gives you a multiplier of 5.
So you're saying that the values of the ruling class are completely divorced from the well-being of the people who generate their wealth?
Yes, precisely.
True.
Now it's the lieutenant's turn to respond. He moves aggressively onto the Safre territory. Soon, his workers are producing a steady supply of extremely valuable apricots. How can you let the lieutenant dominate you like that? You need to hit back, and hard. For several turns, you struggle to respond to the lieutenant's burgeoning apricot empire. Eventually, you relocate the majority of your workers to Supremawindi and Saramaritsa, where they begin producing a bumper crop of cocaine tokens. You draw a new contract card. According to the text, there's an aristocrat willing to trade a large supply of cocaine for a number of coins and access to a rare bonus. Amplified music worth 7 victory points.
Nice, nice.
Oh yeah, baby. Cocaine and rock music go together like cocaine and rock music.
Well done, electrochemistry, you tried.
You know, this isn't unlike the situation the historical Revacholian suzerainty faced in Safre in the middle of the last century.
Really? Tell me more.
Well, the suzerain was looking for new markets for all the cocaine it was producing, and it settled on Safre. By introducing cocaine into Safre under exclusive contract, the suzerain created an extremely valuable captive market for an extremely addictive product.
That's messed up.
If you could somehow get the lieutenant's workers addicted to your cocaine, you could not only make them less productive, you would also force the lieutenant to pay you for your cocaine tokens each turn.
That sounds like a good strategy. Can you even do that?
Yes, you can. It's right there in the rules.
Nice.
Now's your chance. Show the lieutenant what happens when he patronizes you. You've reached a critical strategic juncture. How do you respond to the lieutenant's aggression?
I do want the contract. Sorry, Kim, but I want to introduce his workers to cocaine as well. No, rock and roll. Let's do it. Music.
It takes several turns, but you slowly begin accumulating the cocaine necessary to complete the contract. When you do, it practically rains cardboard coins on your side. Feels good, doesn't it? But you know what would feel even better?
Solving the murder?
Drugs. Specifically
of course.
uppers. You should find some the first chance you get.
Nope.
While you daydream about speed, the lieutenant has built himself a formidable economic engine of his own. The end game is upon you. How will you spend the vast resources you've acquired for the glory of the suzerain? Flipping through the manual, you find the most expensive structure in the game, the Revacholian victory column, worth 12 victory points. If you can successfully build it, victory will be all but assured. Alternatively, you could try launching a trade war to crush the lieutenant's economy, or you could blow all that money on a public education system for your worker tokens. The choice is yours.
For almighty Revachol! Go for the victory column.
Building the ultimate structure requires diligent economic planning, which you completely fail to do. Rather than build a glorious monument to Revachol's economic superiority, you have to settle for a handful of post offices and school for the blind.
A risky gambit, detective. Sorry it didn't pay off.
Whoops, I guess I should have gone for a more consistent strategy.
That might have helped, yes. Now, let's tally up the scores, shall we?
Computing the final scores is almost a game unto itself. You each spend an inordinate amount of time making stacks of coins, consulting tables, and struggling with basic addition and multiplication. After double, then triple checking your maths, you have your final score. 15 victory points. The suzerain will not be impressed.
I've got 26 points.
The lieutenant looks up from his tabulations. He says that he's got his points with a barely contained smile breaking out across his face.
Don't be glum, detective. There's always next time. Figuratively, I mean. There's no way we have time to play this game again.
We didn't take up as many hours as I hoped we would. You know, in the end, losing was worth it because Kim was happy about it.
Now, let's clean up and get back to work.
It was worth it.
You hold the open game box before you.
Put the game away. Unfortunate, but oh well. Let's read the occult books. Is there a book I can buy in here?
This bookstore is not strictly about crime, romance, and biographies of famous people. There's also a wide range of paranatural literature.
I would like to buy The Medicinal Purposes of the Pale.
Indeed. Something about that book does seem to have spoken to you. Well, I hope it contains what you're looking for.
Me too. Here we are, The Medicinal Purposes of the Pale. It's a small green book giving off a peculiar foreboding impression, although it's hard to figure out why. It describes the various ways of healing debilitating ailments through the use of pale, some of which sound implausible at best.
Medicinal Purposes of the Pale. The cover of this heavy tome features a number of esoteric symbols.
Of course it does.
Flipping through the book, you find a number of sections on the general benefits of the pale. A large pharmacopoeia makes up nearly half of the book.
What's a pharmacopoeia?
You come across the following explanation. While modern pharmacopoeia are continually updated by so-called experts based on the results of clinical trials, readers will find assembled here the timeless wisdom relied upon by generations of traditional Seolite medicine practitioners, Mesk mystics, and Ilmaran folk doctors.
Okay, sure.
It's all
alternative medicine.
In other words.
Yes.
Finally, something to calm the angry spirits that have been plaguing you. It seems to contain descriptions of the medicinal properties of various ingredients that may be gathered from the pale, as well as instructions for producing a variety of herbal remedies.
Is there anything in here about restoring lost memories?
There are a number of Seolite tonics that promise to improve your short-term memory, but nothing that speaks to your condition.
Anything about curing an apocalyptic hangover?
There's nothing in here that speaks to hangovers directly. However, while browsing through the various descriptions, you become convinced that you could assemble something from the ingredients listed here. Want to give it a shot?
That sounds terrible. Let's do it. Rub your hands together. Alright, book, let's see what you got.
First, you need to choose a base ingredient.
A ginger root.
Next, you'll need to combine the base ingredient with an appropriate vehicle.
Boil it with a tea made from birch bark.
Lastly, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Some wild ginseng root.
The ginger root will help with the nausea, and the birch bark tea will help you flush out the toxins. The ginseng should give you more energy, as a nice bonus.
Great, so where can I find all this stuff?
From the pale, of course.
Of course.
Or perhaps from some enterprising entrepreneur. Where you would find one of those, though, the book does not say.
Maybe Sealang, if this is an actual thing you can do. I want to try to concoct one of those hangover cures again.
Very well. First,
I don't actually want to. I'm just going to click the same ones.
The ginger root will help you close the book and find yourself staring at the familiar.
Open
Flipping
it.
through the book, you find a number of you come
Pharmacopoeia.
across. It's all finally. It seems to contain descriptions of the medicinal properties of various ingredients that may be gathered from the pale, as well as instructions for producing a variety of herbal remedies.
I feel like if I choose this option, they're going to tell me to make a poison or alcohol. I just want something that will soothe the relentless torment of my existence.
What you're describing is booze.
That's what I thought.
You don't need any herbs for that.
Enough of that.
The tome seems to...
Put it away. So I've got some thoughts that are about to get about to have breakthroughs in, so...
Motorway south.
Okay, let's see what the bonuses are here for this.
The lone vector stretches in your mind's eye into the wild pale yonder. For an unimaginable distance, forgetting, until you can no longer remember anything. No cities, no mountains, no oceans, and finally, no vector. Nothing remains. A blank space with no point of reference, where only one type of motion is possible. The motion of a human throat, swallow in, and then it comes to you. To reach the end of the motorway south is to be unborn. You've had this thought before, while aimlessly wandering the streets of Jamrock. A lost piece of the man you were. A dark hope.
Okay, so it unlocks all intellect white checks, which is nice, but not helpful to me right now. Not what I'm looking for. But +1 Inland Empire, which I really don't have enough of, so I'll take it.
Searchlight Division.
Interesting image.
You sharpened your senses by being on the lookout for missing persons. Now you notice more of what's happening around you. Perhaps, when you're done with this case, you can join the Searchlight Division of the RCM and find every Revacholian that's ever gone missing without a trace. There is undoubtedly a backlog of such cases, because you never know. A missing person could be just around the edge, barely out of sight.
So +2 perception. I'll take it. And the Insulindian Miracle is 3 hours away from completion, which is perfect because at that point I'm going to go for my gun. So we can read another few books then while we're here. What have you got?
Shelves full of browsing suddenly. At high speed next to the...
I really... I'm sorry.
Nope. What about you?
Shelves filled to the brim with crime novels featuring the supposedly stalwart Vespertine detective, Dick Mullen.
I would like to buy this Dick Mullen novel. It's the Dick Mullen and the Mistaken Identity.
Of course. Such violence and immorality. I mean, enjoy.
Thank you. Here we are. Another Dick Mullen book that woefully misrepresents the nature of police work. In this one, our detective returns from a trip, having successfully solved one case, only to embark on another. Does he finally face the taxing nature of his occupation? No! He doesn't even look like a normal officer of the law.
In your hand, you hold Dick Mullen and the Mistaken Identity. The brittle paperback feels fragile to the touch.
Examine the cover.
The cover features a pastiche of different scenes. In the foreground, a man in a dark overcoat clutches a pistol to his chest. Rising up behind him are two silhouettes wrapped in a passionate embrace. The tagline reads, Detective Dick Mullen must prove his innocence after an old friend is murdered by someone who looks just like Dick Mullen. That seems to sum up the premise nicely. Needless to say, it violates nearly every RCM regulation for a detective to investigate a murder in which he is a suspect.
Makes sense.
Are you really reading that, detective?
I really need to know who this Dick Mullen guy is.
Good luck finding it. He's not much of a character, I think you'll find. Just a stand-in for the reader.
That's pretty standard for most of these types of books, though, right?
The point is for the reader to feel like they're solving the crime, along with Dick Mullen. A crude narrative convention, but no less effective for it.
Start reading.
The story opens with a knock at the door. Detective Dick Mullen is greeted by an old friend, Charlie Spillane, who's come to Mullen to ask a favor on this dark and cold night. Spillane needs Mullen to drive him in from Vesper to a small town along the Insulindian coast. Despite his friend's apparent agitation, Mullen does as he's asked, then returns home, where he passes out drunk as he does most nights.
I think this is a little bit too on the nose for Harry over here.
An extremely unprofessional and hurtful stereotype that's offensive to all upstanding officers of the law.
Sure, let's not talk about how we got into this situation.
But also extremely accurate in your case.
Hey, I'm trying at least.
Give it time. You'll fall off the wagon sooner or later.
I hope not to. Keep reading.
2 days later, Mullen is arrested by the Vesper police and charged with the murder of Charlie Spillane. At his interrogation, Mullen learns that Charlie Spillane was shot in a bar in the very town Mullen dropped him off in by a man matching Mullen's description. Desperate to clear his name, Mullen manages to convince the Vesper police to release him for 3 days so that Mullen may solve his friend's murder and prove his innocence.
The cops released their prime murder suspect so he can find the real killer? Are you shitting me?
What's the matter, detective?
The lieutenant turns to you with a start. I don't know who's writing this shit, but I get the feeling they aren't experts on homicide investigations.
The lieutenant shrugs, resigned to the idea that his profession will rarely, if ever, be accurately represented in art and literature. They're not shitting you, detective. This is what the writers think passes for police procedure.
Okay, so Mullen didn't do it.
Of course, Mullen didn't do it. That's the whole premise of the book. Anyway, Mullen returns to the seaside bar where Spillane was murdered and meets a beautiful, mysterious woman named Diana Deneva.
Nice, a dame.
And not just any dame. She's truly one in a million, a knockout whose mind is as dangerous as her curves. But she's got a secret.
Man, who doesn't?
Secrets are the currency of human relations. Your secrets are unknown even unto you. So does that make you a rich man or a beggar?
Now it's getting interesting. Keep reading.
Deneuve reveals that she was Spillane's lover and that he was mixed up with a local amphetamine smuggling operation. As soon as Mullen begins pulling at strings, the whole conspiracy begins to unravel. Not only is the local police captain in on the amphetamine ring, so is the son of a powerful politician and a strung-out art collector named Torvald, each of whom has his own reasons for wanting Spillane dead.
Tell me about the corrupt police captain.
Outwardly, the old police captain is a real law and order crypto-fascist, a barrel-chested man who's beaten his share of suspects to pulp. But he's also dirty and increasingly paranoid that someone's going to expose his role in the drug ring. He would certainly have the motive and the means, but the captain walks with a noticeable limp from an old war injury. Is it possible that he was able to conceal it long enough to commit the murder?
I want to hear about the politician's son.
A typical privileged twat. In all likelihood, he's just in over his head. He does bear a personal grudge against Spillane, though, a former prosecutor who nearly brought down his father's administration. The kid doesn't exactly have Dick Mullen's manly build, but he is the correct height, and while interrogating him at his home, Mullen did notice a certain overcoat that looks suspiciously like his own.
And what was that about an art collector?
Torvald, the art collector, is a strung-out mess. Frankly, it's hard to imagine him holding a pistol steady enough to actually hit someone, let alone plug them 3 times in the chest the way Spillane got did. That said, Torvald and Spillane have a long history, and while interrogating him, Mullen discovers that Torvald was once involved with Diana Deneuve. Could it be that this is all over a sordid love triangle?
Okay, let's get on with the story.
One evening, Diana Deneuve comes to Mullen's hostel room in tears. The two of them drink half a bottle of vodka, and soon they're seeking comfort in each other's arms. Yes, comfort and pleasure. The warmth of another human's touch. The burning taste of liquor on her full, sweet lips. Well, that testimony won't be admissible any longer.
How does Mullen expect to solve the murder if he's sleeping with the witnesses?
The man's a prosecutor's nightmare. Solving a murder counts for nothing if all the evidence gets thrown out in court over police misconduct. That's just Dick Mullen's modus operandi. He might bend the rules, but he closes cases like no one else can.
I'm not sure I'm happy about this, but maybe the story will turn it around.
As the two lovers share a post-coital cigarette, Diana Deneuve turns to Mullen and says, By the way, Dick, there was something else I meant to tell you. I love you. The name of the true killer. Always aim for the center of mass. Whatever it is, Mullen never hears the words. A blow to the base of his skull knocks him out cold instantly.
Crap.
When Mullen comes to, Deneuve is dead on the hostel bed next to him. To make matters worse, his clothes are covered with her blood.
Double crap.
Mullen trashes his blood-stained clothes and flees the hostel, knowing it's only a matter of hours before the cops discover Deneuve's body, if they haven't been tipped off already.
So now he's fleeing the scene of the crime.
Fleeing a crime scene.
Yep.
Destroying evidence. Even if Detective Mullen didn't commit the murder, he should be facing years behind bars. Dick Mullen won't be sent to the clink for the sake of some legal niceties. The heat is on. If Dick Mullen can't solve both murders before the cops catch up to him, he's going away for life. Can you solve the case before the cops close in?
Wait, I've got some questions first.
What is it, Detective?
Why does everyone close to Dick Mullen wind up dead?
It's a dangerous line of work, but somebody has to do it. That's why Dick Mullen never lets anyone get too close. What's the matter? Afraid you've been hacking up your friends' bodies in the night? Have you gone over everyone? Is anybody missing?
Why did Dick Mullen become a detective in the first place?
There was never a time when he wasn't a detective. He was born a detective.
Was I not born to be a detective?
For a moment, you cease to read the story on the page and see the book for what it is. A collection of brittle, cheaply printed pages held together by glue made from the hooves of horses. From nowhere, you hear the screech of sneakers on a waxed floor, and you feel the burn of rope against your hands. Are these figments of some other life? You won't find the answers you're looking for here, in other words.
Why bother solving crimes when the world is so evil?
Is it really so evil, Detective?
Okay, maybe not. There are parts worth saving.
Like what?
Friends and family.
Do you even have those?
I've got Kim.
Just make sure you don't lose him. You'll not find another like him.
True, he's been incredibly patient, all things considered.
It's true, in more ways than you know. But then, what does this book know? It's just a poorly made piece of pulp garbage made to be consumed and discarded.
I don't have any more questions. I figured it all out.
So, who did it, Detective? Who killed Charlie Spillane and Deanna Deneuve?
The politician's son?
Could be. Who knows? Only one way to find out.
Finish the book.
You begin furiously flipping through pages. Even as you know these books follow a series of well-worn tropes, you find yourself completely engrossed. You're turning pages so fast, you don't even notice the ancient spine coming unglued.
Oh no, we're never gonna get the answer, are we?
You try to grab the pages as they come loose, but your fingers aren't quick enough.
Wow.
They're gone. Dozens of pages scatter across the floor. The last fifth or so of the book seems to have been lost. It's possible that you could gather and reassemble the pages, but it would take way too long.
Yeah, now I'll never know.
Too bad, Detective. If it's any consolation, the resolution is almost never very satisfying.
True.
And on that note, perhaps we should get back to making sense of our own case?
Perhaps.
Last year, more than 71% of murders in Revachol went unsolved. In Revachol West, that number was closer to 85%. In your hand, you hold 4/5 of Dick Mullen and the mistaken identity.
Alright, let's put it away. Fascinating. We've got about, what, 10 minutes left? Before I'm expected to show up for a, to reclaim my gun. I guess maybe if it's like $5 or less, I can buy the comic.
Rack, this is entirely...
Oh, never mind.
Completely.
Okay. So I need to confront the pigs. Walk past the fishing village until you see the boardwalk. But it has to be done basically at 9 p.m. So... I say 9 p.m. Sorry. 22. 10 p.m. My bad. Let's go.
It's getting cold, this late in the...
So I'm still a bit too early. I'm thinking it might be a good idea to, There's a slit in the concrete here. A sewer?
The light vanishes inside the concrete slit. The structure goes deep under the earth.
What's in there?
Maybe it's just a storm drain for the sewer.
Kim, any idea what's down there?
No idea. Could be connected to one of the buildings around here.
He takes his glasses off to polish. You think we might find Ruby down there?
We might find her down somewhere. There's an old storm drain system beneath Martinez that's mostly collapsed. Revachol sewage system has been built and rebuilt 4 or 5 times now.
Fair enough.
In conclusion, she could be under any building.
But not in there.
I hope not.
Yell ho into the slit.
There's no echo. And no answer.
Okay. Interesting. I guess this is the fallen building right here. But that's not what I'm here for. What I'm here for are bullets, casings, potentially, and also my gun. But I think we'll actually leave that for next time. So I hope that you enjoyed what you saw here today, that you're doing well wherever you are. Next episode, we're going to reclaim our gun. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just spam talk to Kim over and over until it reaches 22. And then I'll be able to meet up with the pigs. So I'm hoping that you're looking forward to that. This has been Karst with Disco Elysium. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.